Hey guys, hope you are well. So, welcome to the Anime Fictions 2.0. This is the story about what if Naruto can copy Bloodline limits. Part 2. If you love this whatif, do subscribe for more awesome whatif. Share with your friends and enjoy them. Check out the other videos I have created. Comment down your opinion. Share with your friends. So, without wasting any time, let's jump into the second part. Chunin exams. It's been a long time, Saitama Genos. Naruto greeted as he casually strolled out of the woods and into the clearing where his comrades were walking, as if he was just an ordinary kid meeting up with his friends in the forest. Naruto-sama, please forgive us. We have yet to find Zabuza and the Hayatan user. Genos exclaimed, bowing his head apologetically, a look of panic and distress plastered on his facial features. Don't worry about those two, their corpses are being delivered to Gatsu and SDs as we speak. Naruto replied, unable to stop the smirk on his face from showing when he saw the shocked looks that Genos and Saitama were giving him. So, you decided to go after them yourself after all, are we really that useless? Genos. Stop beating yourself up, damn it. I only came here because of a mission I got from Konoha. It was just sheer luck that the mission happened to involve Zabuza and the Hayatan user. Naruto said with exasperation. A mission from Konoha? So you finally graduated from the academy? What rank did they give you? Saitama asked curiously. Genin. Naruto deadpanned, both Saitama and Genos initially shocked by Naruto's declaration as they tried to process what they just heard, before looking at each other, and then breaking into a fit of laughter. You idiots, you can't just skip ranks, not in Konoha at least. Besides, this is good, being a genin draws less attention. Attention is not something any ninja should seek unless it is part of a grander scheme. Naruto reprimanded and lectured his friends in one paragraph, which was ironic seeing as he was so much younger than they were. I guess it makes sense when you put it like that, but still, the great Naruto-sama reduced to a mere genin, that's just crazy. Saitama retorted. Yes, well, I suppose I can see where you're coming from. In any case, it's a good thing that you guys are here. I just so happen to have a new mission for the two of you, but it won't be anything like the usual bloodline limit hunting missions you get. In fact, it doesn't involve a bloodline limit at all. Naruto said, much to Genos and Saitama's confusion. What do you mean? What kind of mission is it? Genos asked curiously. I want the two of you to protect the woman I am grooming to become daimyo of Wave Country. I understand that neither of you are suited for this kind of mission as either of you are censor types. However, I'm going to be in Wave Country for a while still, until the bridge is finished. That should give me enough time to install the upgrades that will make you suitable for this job. Naruto explained. An upgrade? What kind of upgrade? Saitama asked curiously, Genos nodding his head as he especially was curious about the new upgrades. An improvement on Genos's radar. Right now his radar allows him to detect heat signatures, but the upgrade I'll install will allow him to detect and identify people by their chakra, and the radius will be increased by 200%. Naruto replied, Genos and Saitama's eyes widening in surprise as realization dawned on them. Wow, that's incredible. Our bodyguard mission should be a breeze with these new upgrades, and we won't have so much trouble hunting down Kekkei Genkei users anymore. Saitama said jovially. Why yes, indeed. With this new upgrade, we'll never fail you again, Naruto-sama, I promise. Genos said with determination. I know you won't. Anyway, I'll need you to lay low until my team and I leave this place. The last thing we need is for Kakashi to discover you guys. I'll protect Tsunami-san and her family in the meantime as you guys familiarize yourselves with the place. Oh yes, Saitama Dano, I'll need you to train her son to use chakra. I've already started him on taijutsu, kenjutsu, and shurikenjutsu, so when I'm gone, you take it from there and continue the kid's education. Naruto ordered. Train her son? Why? Are you planning to recruit the kid for the bloodline? Saitama asked curiously. No, not at all, but I can have you on bodyguard duty forever, you know. The kid needs to be able to protect his family when you guys leave. He'll also have the responsibility to create a military force for the new daimyo, which will be his mother, and he himself in the future. Naruto explained. I see. You've really thought this through, haven't you? Genos said, Naruto's brilliance and foresight for someone so young never ceasing to amaze him. Yes, I have. Now I'm not allowed to teach ninjutsu to a stranger because of my affiliation to Konoha, but I will be teaching Inari taijutsu and weapon skills, and of course I will be training his body to peak human condition. I'll leave behind a program for him to follow, and you guys will just make sure he sticks to it for the next 12 months. After that, you can teach him how to harness his chakra and all the basic principles of ninjutsu. You don't have to teach him jutsu beyond the basic necessities like shunshin, bunshin, henge, and how to harness his elemental affinity. That should be good enough. He can discover the rest on his own or develop his own ninjutsu if he can," Naruto declared. "So basically, our role is to give him a solid foundation and the necessary basics needed to become a competent shinobi?" Saitama asked rhetorically. "Basically. He must be strong enough that low-level bandit armies like the one Gato used to take over Wave Island won't even stand a chance against him. So basically I'd say about Chunin level of skill. If he wants to get stronger than that, so be it, but he'll have to do it on his own. He's still young, so he'll have more than enough time to develop himself to whatever level he desires," Naruto explained. "Okay, fine, got it," Saitama retorted. "Okay, good. I'll see you guys around. Y'all take care now," Naruto said as he disappeared in a poof of smoke. "A shadow clone?" Genos thought out loud. "He makes those things look so real I can never tell the difference," Saitama said irritably. "Yes, I'd say. Nevertheless, let us do as Naruto-sama ordered and familiarize ourselves with the area. I'm sure Naruto-sama will come back to install my upgrades by the end of the day," Genos urged, determined not to ever have to apologize to Naruto-sama for failing him again. Later that evening, "Wow, you don't have any quit in you, do you?" Naruto said, quite impressed by the young Uchiha's determination and perseverance. Sasuke said nothing in response, simply staring at the blonde Uzumaki with an unlimited dose of incredulity in his facial expression. He'd spend all day, using all of his Uchiha mental and physical discipline and prowess to try and master the tree walking technique, but to no avail. Sure, he'd improved a lot actually, so he wouldn't exactly say that the effort was for naught, but the fact that Sakura was able to master the exercise in an instant pissed him off to no end. It was the most infuriating and most embarrassing moment of his life. He doubted he had ever felt as weak and useless as he did right now. Not even when Itachi belittled and humiliated him did he ever feel this low. Not even when he watched the dobe outclass him at every turn since they graduated did he ever feel this insignificant. Speaking of the dobe, the guy had been training right next to him, unsealing and lifting ridiculous weights that he wouldn't even expect a jonin to be able to lift, and yet the dobe was doing just that. He'd been alternating the whole day between weighted sprinting and taijutsu kata practice to weighted press-ups and pull-ups to bicep curls and bench press, and now he was busy squatting a weight that seemed to be close to half a ton, without the use of chakra. Just how insane was that even with the use of chakra? The dobe had been doing this all day and all evening, and he had the nerve to compliment him on his lack of quit. Lack of quit for what? Climbing a damn tree? How great was that compared to what the dobe had been doing the whole day? How amazing was that compared to Sakura mastering the damn tree exercise in a few seconds? If he wasn't so afraid of the dobe, not that he would ever admit it, he would have beat him senseless just for that comment alone. "You're one to talk," Sasuke eventually replied, as calm and uncaring as ever, because he was never going to show the dobe just how much he was getting to him. The dobe is an insignificant and lesser being, he always was, and he always will. That was the only thing Sasuke was willing to accept, the only thing he had to convince himself of in order to hold on to his self-worth and self-esteem. "You know, you need not worry about Kakashi's taunting. He was just, in his own twisted and sadistic way, trying to encourage you. Sakura is not more talented than you at chakra control, she simply has too little and insignificant chakra reserves for it to be a challenge to control her chakra. You are an Uchiha prodigy, so your chakra is extremely dense and potent, and your reserves are significantly larger than Sakura's. So of course it would take that much more effort for you to reign in that large and potent chakra. It's the only reason you are struggling and she is not. If anything, Sakura should be right here with you, working hard in order to increase her chakra reserves, because once you master this technique you will be so much faster and stronger compared to her," Naruto explained in great detail. "Why would I be faster and stronger just because of this?" Sasuke asked condescendingly, although deep down he was actually extremely relieved to hear, everything that the dobe just said. Chakra is used to augment physical abilities like speed and strength, so obviously the better your control the better you are at those things. There are other factors like the potency and density of your chakra, and the amount of chakra that you can move to certain areas of your body. As you have much higher stats in all three departments of density, potency, and capacity compared to Sakura, then, by mastering the same exercise as her, you will enjoy that many more benefits," Naruto explained, Sasuke unable to stop the smirk that instantly appeared on his facial features. "That means I'll also be able to keep up with you, right?" Sasuke concluded somewhat prematurely. Hee hee. Don't get ahead of yourself, you haven't even mastered the water walking technique yet, Naruto said, laughing at the incredulous look that the Uchiha was spotting right then. The water what? Sasuke asked irritably. Come on now, Sasuke. You saw Zabuza and Kakashi's fight, right? You did see them standing and fighting on top of the water, didn't you? Naruto asked incredulously, Sasuke's eyes widening in surprise and sudden realization. You're all lucky I haven't awakened my Sharingan yet. If I had my Sharingan, this would all be child's play, Sasuke said furiously, causing Naruto's eyes to widen as a thought quickly crossed his mind. Hey Sasuke, tell me, how does one go about awakening the Sharingan anyway? Naruto asked curiously. Intense trauma or intense battle? Usually it is awakened as death approaches during a death battle. The Uchiha's intense emotions and survival instincts come to the fore, and the blood reacts to those emotions, and the manifestation of the Sharingan is achieved. There are some who have simply trained their eyes until the Sharingan manifested, but those are few and far between, Sasuke said as if reading a manual on a scroll. I see. Well, you know what, I think I can help you to awaken your Sharingan. You said so yourself, right? If you had your Sharingan, these chakra control exercises would be a piece of cake, Naruto said with a devious smirk plastered on his facial features. Naruto didn't particularly like Sasuke. Sasuke could easily be described as an arrogant, obnoxious and self-absorbed prick with a terrible superiority complex. However, there was no doubt about his potential, and he also was a serious flight risk to Konoha, not to mention that he also had a powerful bloodline limit, which were two reasons why Naruto was considering whether to draft him into the bloodline or not. To make that determination, Naruto knew that he needed to be friendly to Sasuke and try to get close to him. That was the only way he would get to know him well enough to decide whether he could be trusted or not. He figured helping him to master jutsu every now and then and maybe sparring with him was as good as any way to get close to a ninja from a clan with such a rich shinobi history. There were other reasons for helping to speed up Sasuke's progress, of course. The truth of the matter is that Naruto had no idea when Akatsuki would decide to make their move against him. However, he could easily predict that Itachi would likely be one of the people sent after him. Sasuke's sole purpose in life, besides the resurrection of his clan, was to eliminate Uchiha Itachi. So if Itachi came after him, it was to Naruto's benefit that Sasuke be as strong as possible when that moment came, as Sasuke would inadvertently end up fighting on Naruto's behalf whether he knew it or not. Naruto would then just have to worry about Itachi's partner while Sasuke took care of his brother, or at least hold him off long enough for Naruto to conclude his own battle. What? Sasuke stuttered. I said I think I can help you awaken your Sharingan, Naruto said as he created 4 sealless shadow clones which then disappeared in 4 different directions. What are you doing, Dobe? Sasuke asked with a confused look on his facial features. The clones are going to set up a barrier around the forest so that no one can hear or see anything inside the barrier, Naruto explained clearly and concisely. Why would we need a barrier like that? What are you going to do, Dobe? Sasuke asked incredulously. I'm going to kill you, of course, or at least try to, depending on whether what you said is true or not. I want to see if you really will awaken your Sharingan if I try to kill you, Naruto said, a sinister smirk morphing into his facial features, memories of Uchiha Itachi flashing in Sasuke's mind as that was the only time he could remember feeling as terrified and helpless as he did right now. Here I come, Sasuke! D-Dobe! Sasuke cried out like he never did before in his life, a sound that would reverberate around the forest many more times over the evening. 1 month later. It had been a month since Kakashi returned to Konoha with his students, and needless to say, a lot had happened since then, and he had a feeling that the permanent headache he had since he taking over Team 7 was about to be compounded even further. Normally, it would have been a blessing and a privilege to be in charge of Team 7. Naruto was strong, incredibly so, a genius now clearly greater than even Kakashi was. Kakashi had already been a Jonin at Naruto's age, however. With 16 years of experience as a Jonin and now possessing a Sharingan, Naruto had been able to make short work of him, and then he had made short work of Zabuza and Haku. Zabuza, a foe who himself had made short work of Kakashi prior to the blonde Uzumaki's intervention. Official ranking was irrelevant, the blonde Uzumaki was a monster. Kakashi could only imagine what he would become once he started using the powers of the actual monster inside of him. And then there was Uchiha Sasuke. Last time Kakashi remembered, he was struggling with the tree climbing exercise, and within the space of less than a day the young Uchiha had come back with a Sharingan and the ability to perform the tree and water technique effortlessly. His Sharingan had 2 tamo on the right side and 1 on the left at the time, by the time they left Wave Island he had already unlocked the second one on the left side as well. It may have seemed like nothing, but Kakashi, as a Sharingan user, knew just how difficult a feat it was to advance a Sharingan, and just how much more power one gained from just that one extra Tamo. He knew the blonde Uzumaki was behind Sasuke's development. He knew Naruto was directly involved in Sasuke's development. Naruto denied it, and Sasuke claimed that he had only sparred the blonde Uzumaki, and the spars became so intense that he awakened his Sharingan. Kakashi didn't detect any lies, but he knew that there was a lot that the last Uchiha was leaving out in that statement. The only question Kakashi had was, to what end? Why was Naruto helping Sasuke? It didn't take a genius to figure out that the two of them didn't like each other at all, and it wasn't hard to see how contrasting their inherent personalities were. What did Naruto have to gain from making Sasuke stronger? What did he want? Was he planning to use Sasuke to further his own goals? If so, then how and why did he feel the need to do that? He was so strong, and he had summons that were just as strong if not stronger, so what was the blonde Uzumaki's end game? Kurenai had detailed in her personality analysis of the blonde Uzumaki that he is a trickster by nature, that every action he took would appear to be meaningless and done for the sake of it on the surface, and yet there was a clear goal that only the trickster knew behind all of his actions. Kakashi understood that, it made sense, but for the life of him he just couldn't figure out anything that the blonde Uzumaki was up to, and he was the guy who always preached the always look beneath the underneath motto like it was some kind of mantra. Honestly, Sasuke and Naruto were prize students. Anyone looking in from the outside would consider him lucky to have such talented individuals. But as they say, the devil is in the details. For one, part of Kakashi's assignment had been to stall the progress of the blonde Jinchuriki and the lone Uchiha, for the simple fact of the matter that they were flight risks, high-alert flight risks. Their mental stability and loyalty to the village were questionable at best, if not currently then potentially in the future. It wouldn't do Konoha well to groom the potential instruments of their demise too well. Until their loyalties could be unquestionably verified, he was supposed to stall them. However, how was he supposed to do that when one of them was arguably stronger than him, arguably because he still felt that he was caught off guard and completely unprepared for the blonde Uzumaki's true strength and intellect? He still wanted his rematch, a chance to prove himself. Still, the fact that he needed a rematch in the first place was really all that needed to be said. The other one was advancing at an incredible rate, seemingly without his help and with the aid of the one who was arguably stronger than him. The only one who was stagnant was the one that actually wasn't a major concern at all to the village. It was a cruel way to put it, but right now, Sakura could die a horrible death, and it wouldn't affect the village's military strength whatsoever. He doubted anyone would notice beyond her fellow graduates, and their senseis, and her family of course. That was another headache waiting to happen. As she was, Sakura was a sure-fire death waiting to happen. He'd given to her a training program when they returned from Wave Island. He hadn't followed up on her to check on whether she was following the program or not, because she was an adult now. That's the status that being a shinobi bestows upon an academy graduate. If she couldn't follow a simple training program like that by herself, then it wasn't his problem. Okay, it was, but he had no intention of coddling anyone. He could tell that she was putting some effort into it, but he could also tell that she was doing only about a quarter of what the program was asking of her. In other words, she hadn't improved anywhere near as much as he had hoped she would have by now, which was bad for her, because he had just given to them, not even 6 minutes ago, the Chunin exam application forms. As she was, if she signed the forms, she was probably going to die in the second part of the exam. In any case, he didn't really have time to muse about any of that. He had to hurry and get to the Hokage's office. He was already 2 hours late for the meeting. Team 7, finally, a chance to test myself against strong opponents. Maybe this will be the push I need to unlock the third Tamil for my eyes. Sasuke said enthusiastically, well, as enthusiastic as an emotionally deficient, borderline psychopathic Uchiha can be. Yes, I'm sure there are a lot of monsters out there that will be entering the exams. It should be interesting. The blonde Uzumaki mused. Dope. I assume you'll be entering the exams. Sasuke said in a way that was neither a statement nor a question, somewhere in between the two. Not like I have a choice now. You do know that if even one of us doesn't submit the forms, then we can't enter either, right? Naruto asked rhetorically. What? That can't be. Kakashi-sensei would have said something if that were so. Sakura exclaimed frantically. Really? Kakashi? You mean like he told us he had a Sharingan even though he knew how important that information would have been to Sasuke? Or like he told us anything about himself during our first introductions? Or perhaps like he told us that. Okay. I get it. He He probably wouldn't have told us. In fact, it's just like him to pull a stunt like this, Shinaro," Sakura said, shaking her fist angrily as she fantasized about pulverizing the living daylights out of that freak scarecrow of a sensei of theirs. You two better not hold me back. I'll put you on my list of people to kill right next to Itachi if you do," Sasuke said, turning and walking away without even waiting for a response. "Sasuke-kun, where are you going?" "Home." Sasuke's voice cut through the air before Sakura could even finish asking. "Do you want to?" "No." Again, before Sakura could finish, Sasuke's firm and uncompromising voice cut through the air. "Well, I admire your dedication and never say give up attitude if nothing else," Naruto said as he too turned to leave in a different direction. "Unlike you mean?" Sakura exploded, Naruto halting dead on his tracks at the sound of that, not quite sure he believed what he was hearing, that is, of course, if she meant what he thought she meant. "What's that supposed to mean exactly?" Naruto asked without turning around. "You used to proclaim your love for me on a daily basis. You said that you loved me and asked me out at every opportunity you had. But since graduation you haven't so much as looked at me with longing and desire. You totally and completely gave up, but I'm not as weak-minded as you, Naruto. I'll never give up on Sasuke-kun," Sakura declared defiantly. "Well, that's good for you, however I on the other end would prefer not to waste my time with illogical gestures." "What did you say?" Sakura asked furiously, flexing her arms and tightening her fists as she tried to resist the urge to pulverize the blonde into oblivion. "If I never gave up on you? What good would that serve me if you two will never give up on Sasuke? For me to finally win you over would mean that you finally gave up on Sasuke, but since I already know you will never give up on Sasuke, then that means I could never win you over, doesn't it? I mean, this is common sense, 1 + 1 is equal to 2 sort of thing. Besides, I've got far more important things to worry about, believe it or not, and I say this not with the intention to hurt or offend you, but right now, I harbor absolutely no romantic feelings for you. To me, you are just a work colleague," Naruto delivered apathetically, without a shadow of doubt, or even a hint of a lie in his tone of voice of disposition, Sakura's heartstrings clenching tightly with painful realization that there was absolutely no one in the world with the exception of her parents who gave a crap about her, unable to even master a response as she tried and failed to hold back the painful, choking sobs that escaped her throat. "I'll leave you with one piece of advice though. Sasuke, as he is now, is only interested in strong people. He has no patience or concern for the weak. Being kind and romantic is not going to get you any attention from him. If you want him to notice you, then you should focus on developing yourself as a kunoichi. You might still not immediately get his attention in a romantic sense, but at least he will be paying attention to you. That's a start at least," Naruto said before carrying on with his journey, not really caring whether Sakura heeded his advice or not but quite curious to see what she would do if she did and how Sasuke would react. Meanwhile, Hokage's office. "So, what did I miss?" Kakashi asked soon after arriving at the Hokage's office, Sarutobi's left eyebrow twitching irritably at the copy ninja's tardiness. "I see you haven't changed at all, Kakashi, at least as far as your tardiness is concerned," Jiraiya said neutrally. Quite honestly, he would be lying if he said he didn't feel like pulverizing the copy ninja to death with a big ball raisin gun to the head right about now. However, he was also very aware of the fact that he was in no position to pass judgment, as he himself was skidding on thin ice having taken so long to answer to the old man's summons, especially given the level of importance of the subject matter. "Jiraiya-sama. It's been a long time. Is it possible to get an autograph?" "Enough!" Hiruzen finally snapped, smashing his hands against his desk as a wave of killing intent washed over everyone in the office, everyone being Yuhi Kurenai, Sarutobi Asuma, Mato Gai, Hatake Kakashi, and Jiraiya the Toad Sannin. "Yes, sir?" Kakashi immediately stood at attention, quickly remembering that not even he was beyond the Hokage's reproach. "Jiraiya, tell them everything that you told me," Hiruzen ordered authoritatively. "Ahem. I've been debriefed on the situation regarding my godchild Uzumaki Naruto, and I've been told that Kakashi has been overseeing the situation with the help and guidance of you three. First, let me say that if everything I have heard about Naruto is true, then I believe under the circumstances, no one can fault you for having as much trouble as you have had to get to the bottom of the situation. I should know, being a spy master myself," Jiraiya began, taking a momentary pause as he looked each and every one of the 4 Jonin senseis in the eye. "Having said that, I would inform you that I have now returned, and I will be handling the situation. Nothing has to change as far as you are concerned, especially you, Kakashi. You will continue to be Hisjinin sensei and continue to investigate, and to keep an eye on him. However, I will be taking him under my wing as my protege, as his father would have wanted. I will mentor him and push him in the right direction, while investigating the shady forces behind his change in behavior and demeanor," Jiraiya said, taking pause again, this time to allow the information to sink in before moving on to the next topic of issue. "Now, there is something much more sinister and dangerous that is of immediate concern, concerning Naruto, concerning the future of Konoha, and perhaps indirectly, concerning the well-being of you yourselves and your students, a criminal organization comprised solely of S-rank ninja criminals known as Akatsuki. My old teammate Orochimaru is a former member of this organization. In fact, I only know about them because I have spent years monitoring and tracking Orochimaru," Jiraiya explained. "I'm sorry, Jiraiya-sama, but, in as far as I understand the threat posed by the existence of such an organization, I absolutely can't see how any of this has anything to do with Naruto-kun," Kurenai said with a confused frown. "It has everything to do with him. This organization's main goal is to hunt and capture all the 9 Bijou. Naruto, as you know very well, is a Jinchuriki of the strongest of the Bijou, which likely means that he is their most important target," Jiraiya retorted, pin-drop silence taking over the office at the grave news. "If I may ask, Jiraiya-sama, who are the members of this organization, besides Orochimaru, of course?" Kakashi asked with a grave undertone. "They are a very secretive organization. I only know 2 other members as it is, Uchiha Itachi and Hoshigaki Kisame. I only know about Itachi because apparently the reason Orochimaru defected from this organization is because he tried and failed to take on Itachi. He was likely trying to get his hands on the Uchiha bloodline limit, but from what I hear he was soundly defeated. Following the Itachi lead, I was able to learn that his traveling partner is Hoshigaki Kisame, which means that they are partners as Akatsuki operate in 2-man cells," Jiraiya explained. "Uchiha Itachi? Isn't he like, 17 years old?" Asum asked incredulously. "He was 13 years old when he single-handedly massacred his clan, and it was just a year later when he made quick work of Orochimaru. Orochimaru likely underestimated him. He has that tendency due to the sheer size of his ego, but still, underestimated or not, to defeat a Sannin at the age of 14 and then to slaughter a clan as powerful as the Uchiha at the age of 13 takes some serious, otherworldly talent. He is likely even more dangerous now at the age of 17, and that's one man alone. With Kisame helping him, their strength as a team is something I don't want to even imagine. Naruto is in serious trouble. The fate of the ninja world itself in fact hangs in the balance, especially if the other members are packing this much firepower, which in all likelihood they are," Jiraiya said with a grave undertone. "So that's why you have decided to take Naruto under your wing? It's a good move, but how do you train someone who won't reveal his strengths and limitations to you? How do you pass on your secrets to someone who you don't trust, to someone who for all you know would use those gifts to destroy the most precious things to you? How do you pass on your legacy to someone as shrouded in darkness as Naruto is?" Kakashi asked warily. "I don't have much of a choice. If I don't help him and Akatsuki take him, how do I face his father and mother when my time comes to pass on to the afterlife? If I don't help him, isn't the risk greater by allowing Akatsuki to get their hands on the Kyuubi? Besides, the Rasengan is his jutsu by birthright, and his father used to summon toads. You think he'll want to sign the toad summoning contract? I mean, according to Kakashi's report, he already has a summoning clan of his own, a very powerful one at that," Kurenai asked skeptically. "I'll have to convince him. No, in fact he has to sign it. It's the only sure-fire way for me to keep him under my protection, and under my control. As long as he is a toad summoner, I can track him no matter where in the world he goes," Jiraiya argued. "He won't sign the contract, and if he does, it will only be because he already has figured out a way to negate whatever it is that he thinks you intend to do. In other words, it will only be because he has a way to get out of the contract if he so pleases, or because he intends to kill you and become the sole summoner of the toads," Kurenai declared. "Naruto is strong, no doubt. That he defeated Kakashi and then Zabuza and Haku is a true testament to how dangerous he is, but he is still 100 years too young to outwit me," Jiraiya retorted. "Jiraiya-sama, no one respects your strength and your achievements more than I, but this is seriously a big gamble that you're taking. Naruto is no ordinary kid, no, more than that, he is no ordinary ninja," Kakashi warned. "So you've said? However, like I said, I'm going in with both my eyes open. Also, I'm not only going to be teaching him how to be good ninja, I'll be showing him how to be a good person too," Jiraiya stressed. "Okay, it sounds like you know what you're doing. Should I let Naruto know or?" "No! Don't tell him anything. I don't want him to see me coming. Jiraiya said dismissively. Okay then, if that's all then I would like to be. That's not all, Kakashi. Jiraiya has more to say to you four. This time it concerns you and all four of your genin teams. Hiruzen said with his hands folded across his face. All four? Asuma asked with a shocked facial expression. Well, in particular it concerns the students with bloodline limits, but since all four of your teams have at least one person with a bloodline limit, then yes, it concerns all four of your teams. I'm not sure I follow you, Hokage-sama sir, Guy said confusedly. When I discovered Akatsuki, I decided to go on ahead and find out if there are other hidden organizations of that ilk. You must understand that it came as an absolute shock to me to find out that such an organization could slip through the cracks like Akatsuki did. So I began to wonder if there might be other organizations perhaps not as dangerous but one warranting the need to keep an eye on. To my surprise, I found out about one possibly just as dangerous as Akatsuki that had also slipped through the cracks. Jiraiya said with gravity in his tone and facial expression. Another organization just as dangerous as Akatsuki? Kurenai asked, eyes wide in shock and trepidation. For 3 to 4 years now, perhaps longer, the number of people with bloodline limits that have disappeared across the elemental nations has increased by 35%. Bear in mind, I'm not talking about the number of people with bloodline limits who have died. I'm specifically talking about those who have disappeared, vanished without a trace. Jiraiya figuratively dropped an explosive tag right in the middle of the office. That's discomforting, to put it mildly, Kakashi said warily. That's the least disconcerting part of it, trust me. What you should know is that in the last 2 years 3 members of each of the great bloodline clans of Konoha have disappeared, including the Hyuga, although thankfully only branch house members from the Hyuga have disappeared. Jiraiya elaborately, gravely so. And no way. That would mean. Kakashi trailed off in horror. Exactly. This organization has an agent operating on the inside in Konoha. Hiruzen deadpanned. What is the name of this organization exactly? Sarutobi Asuma asked with a combination of wariness and anger. The only name I was able to hear whispered was the Bloodline. None of the members or their abilities are known, or at least they are so careful and competent that even I haven't been able to find out anything about its members. The clan heads have all been alerted, and of course they will be taking measures to ensure the safety of their kinsmen. You four will have to decide how to approach this issue. Unlike Akatsuki, who we know work in two-man cells, we have no idea how this organization operates. You'll have to be careful, all of you. Jiraiya warned, a deathly silencing taking hold of the office by the scruff of the neck as everyone silently wondered if it was possible to defeat this level of foes without losing loved ones. I wish I could say that was all you had to worry about, but there's more. Jiraiya trailed off gravely. There's more. Kurenai almost yelled, barely managing to control herself. I'm afraid so. Orochimaru has founded his own ninja village in the land of rice paddies, recently renamed as the Nation of Sound. The name of the hidden village is Otogekyu no Sato, and we believe Orochimaru is planning to invade and destroy Konoha during the Chunin exams. Jiraiya dropped arguably the biggest bomb of the day, as this one directly involved a former student of the Sandaime Hokage and former legend of the village, and because the threat not only appeared to be more imminent but also had a more defined timeline. Between the Akatsuki, the Bloodline, and Orochimaru's invasion, will the village really be able to survive this? Things would have been so different if Yondaime-sama was still alive. Kurenai thought with trepidation. 3 days later. What is your name, beautiful? Naruto asked as he fixed on the beautiful girl's glasses. She is a very beautiful girl with long silky smooth red hair and equally red eyes, wearing tight black shorts and a blue skirt over the shorts and a reddish-brown long-sleeve top with a black flak jacket over it. On her forehead she was wearing a Kusugakure head protector and, of course, the glasses that Naruto had so kind and caringly replaced over her eyes. And my name is Karen. What's yours? The girl, now identified as Karen, asked with stars in her eyes, unable to believe that this was actual reality, and that she wasn't in fact dreaming, never having seen such a handsome boy before, and definitely happy, of course, that he was the one to save her life. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, genin of Konoha. Well, I guess it's pretty obvious I'm a genin since I'm here, right? Naruto laughed awkwardly. Why yeah? Karen stuttered, a red hue forming on each one of her cheeks as she stared dreamily at the boy crouching in front of her. She didn't react at all when I told her my last name, and she didn't give me her last name? Then does that mean that she isn't aware of her lineage, or is she just being cagey and playing it safe? Naruto wondered, not ruling out the possibility that she in fact didn't know, as he too hadn't known once and probably still wouldn't if it wasn't for Kabuto. So your name is Karen, just Karen, no last name? Naruto asked bluntly, not really wanting to drag this out longer than necessary. Yeah, I am. I'm an orphan. My parents died when I was just a toddler, before I gained any self-awareness really. I don't even remember what they looked like. Karen replied sadly. I see. I'm very sorry for your loss, Karen. I too am an orphan, and for a while I thought I was the last of my bloodline, but then I met Uzumaki Fuka, and now I have met Uzumaki Karen, so you could say I'm probably the happiest man in the world right now, Naruto said with a sincere and happy smile on his facial features. Uzumaki Karen? Karen stuttered, eyes wide in shock and surprise as she looked at the blonde Uzumaki with hope in her eyes. You're a sensor type, I can tell, which means that you can tell that I'm also a sensor type. With that in mind, then you should know that I've developed my sensing abilities to a level where I can distinguish people by familial relations and even by nationalities to some extent. That is why I am sure that you are an Uzumaki, just like Fuka and I. Your sensing ability is strong too, but you lack training. In time you too should be able to reach my level of sensory ability. Your red hair, strong chakra and large chakra reserves are also dead giveaways of your lineage. You are without a shadow of doubt my cousin, you and I are family, and from now on nothing will ever separate us. Naruto declared with confidence, sincerity, and conviction shining in his eyes. Why you? You mean you and I are really family, and there's even another one of us called Fuka? Karen stuttered, her head swirling as she felt like she was going to pass out because of the shock of the news. Indeed. There is so much I have to teach you about the Uzumaki clan, but before that, I just want to know quickly, how attached are you to Kusugakure no Sato? You see, I meant what I said. I'm not letting anyone or any village separate us again now that I have found you. However, having said that, I wouldn't want to be presumptuous about your situation, which is why I'm asking just how attached you are to this village. Naruto asked curiously, but also warily, under no illusions about how difficult it would be to lure Karen away from Kusa if she had any attachments there. Are you asking me to defect from Kusugakure no Sato? To become a rogue ninja? Karen asked fearfully. Yes, I am. Naruto deadpanned. Honestly, she wanted nothing more than to rid herself of any connections to that horrible place. Literally no one was kind to her in Kusugakure, not even her teammates and sensei. For some reason her blood-red hair seemed to rub people the wrong way, and it also didn't help that there were no other people with red hair in Kusa, which made it obvious to everyone that her bloodline wasn't indigenous to Kusa. Her teammates were dead. They died pretty early in the exam, and she would have too were it not for her stealth skills and her chakra extinguishing technique, a technique that gave her the ability to hide from even sensor-type shinobi. She was just unlucky to have run into the abnormally large bear that attacked her. In any case, there was definitely no love lost between her and Kusugakure no Sato. The only reason she hadn't defected thus far was because she knew that she wouldn't last a month out there on her own, with bloodlusting hunter ninja coming after her, and all the other dangerous people she would inevitably run into. She would have easily and happily accepted Naruto-kun's offer without breaking a sweat if she were not worried about his own health and survival. I'm sorry I can't. I can't put your life in jeopardy like that. If I defect, hunting ninja will be sent after me, and although you're strong, you're still just a genin, they'd kill you. Besides, how will you explain this to your own superiors? Will you beg them to take me in as a Konoha shinobi? How would that work? Why would they trust a traitor? What guarantee would they have that I wouldn't later defect from Kono? Hey, relax. No one will know where you are. I'll have my summons take you to their land and you'll get high-quality training there. Of course I'll visit you a lot and I'll help with your training too. When you complete your training and have become strong enough, we'll leave Konoha together. Don't worry, I've got many comrades. We have our own organization. It's called the Bloodline. Everyone in the organization is strong enough to take on a Kage and win. That goes for me too. I'm only masquerading as a genin, but the truth is, I can take on an elite jonin and win. I even defeated my jonin sensei Hatake Kakashi in battle, you can ask anyone. Naruto said reassuringly. What? And no way, I mean, I know you're not lying, I don't think you would, and if you did I'd be able to sense it from your chakra, but still, this is so incredibly difficult to believe, it can't possibly. It just can't. Hey, relax will ya? Calm down, I'll explain everything from the beginning so that you understand, okay? Naruto said as he pulled Karen into a warm and loving embrace, Karen melting into his body as she held on to him as if holding on for dear life, snuggling her head into the crook of his neck. I wonder if this is the first hug she can remember ever having. Naruto thought with a pained heart, vowing to make sure that Karen from here on out would always feel loved, treasured, and appreciated. Okay, it all started when Naruto began as he told Karen not only his story but the story of the entire Uzumaki clan as whole. It took a whole hour to explain everything to Karen, all the while the two of them sitting in the middle of a clearing holding each other tightly as if they were on some sort of romantic getaway instead of a very dangerous shinobi war zone. Of course it didn't matter to talented sensor types like they were, as they would be able to detect an enemy ninja approaching from miles away, so they were pretty much safe to do as they please. Perhaps they could have even had passionate sex right then and there without any worries had they actually been lovers. Nevertheless, Karen finally understood why Naruto was so confident, and why he was so strong. It made sense now that he had told her everything, and the Bloodline organization. She couldn't wait to meet the other members of the organization. She couldn't wait to meet Fuka Wani-chan especially. The thought of how strong Naruto was going to make her excited her to no end, especially because it would enable her to not only be able to protect herself, but to be able to protect him and be of use to him and the organization. I wonder what bloodline limit he will give to me. Will it even be necessary if I master all the Uzumaki barrier jutsu, sealing jutsu, and ninjutsu? Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt to get something extra. I'll have to leave it to Naruto-kun to decide. He seems to know what he is doing. Karen thought excitedly. Okay, Naruto-kun, son of Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Kushina, I, Uzumaki Karen, your clan sister, effectively renounce my association with Kusugakure no Sato and will join you in your efforts to rebuild the Uzumaki clan and the village hidden in the whirlpool tides. I also accept your offer to join the bloodline, Karen declared with unrestrained joy and excitement. Great, now let's hurry up and gee. Naruto trailed off, his shoulders stiffening slightly and his facial features becoming tense all of a sudden. What is it? Karen asked nervously. Enemy shinobi approaching from the west. There is aggression and sinister intent in their chakra. You can sense sinister intent as well? Karen asked in awe. Yes, I can. Brace yourself, they are moving really fast. These aren't normal genin, they may not even be real genin at all. Naruto said with a grave undertone, quickly pulling Karen up to her feet as he too braced himself for what was about to happen. Karen, heeding the warning, quickly extending her mind's kagura of the eye in order to feel out the chakra of her would-be attackers, surprised at just how fast they were traveling as they suddenly appeared in front of them, Karen unable to believe the sheer strength and potency of their chakra, confirming to herself that Naruto's analysis was indeed spot on, as these were definitely not normal genin by any stretch of the imagination. Naruto-kun's chakra is also very strong, stronger than them actually, and he has an infinite amount of it. His chakra flow is also well refined, he's definitely a highly skilled individual. Plus, he has the QB. Maybe we'll be fine, Karen thought, trying to reassure herself and deciding to trust in Naruto. After all, if he wasn't confident of victory, then he would have chosen for them to run away instead of facing the enemy head-on like this, right? Heh, how peculiar. The female in the group, the one with red hair and a bandana on her head, said with a smirk full of malicious intent plastered on her facial features. Yeah, I didn't expect him to have his girlfriend with him. What should we do, kill them both, or leave the girl? The one in the middle, the very large boned one with an orange mohawk, said with a genuinely thoughtful pose, as if really weighing the pros and cons of both choices. No, Jirobo, you fat fucking slob, that's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about the fact that these two are both sensor types and sensed us coming a mile away, and yet chose to stand there and wait for us to show ourselves. They are sensor types, which means they have a very good idea about how strong we are, and yet there they are, nonchalantly sizing us up. It really fucking pisses me off when weaklings try to act tough, Tayuya said furiously. Tayuya, mind your language. A woman shouldn't, Jirobo managed to say before he was interrupted by a slew of profanities that the redhead girl, now identified as Tayuya, threw back at him. Wait a minute, Tayuya. If they can tell your approximate strength by the feel of your chakra, shouldn't you be able to in turn tell us how strong they are, since you know, you're a sensor type yourself? The third member of the team, a boy with relatively short white hair and black lipstick, and what appeared to be a clone of himself attached to him on his back, said analytically. So fucking what? Who told you that I'm a sensor type anyway? And who the hell am I talking to? Is it Sakan or Yukon? Tayuya exclaimed with completely unprovoked anger. It's Sakan, you asshole. I look and sound nothing like my brother, Sakan said irritably. What, are you fucking kidding me? Tayuya retorted incredulously. Guys, come on. Let's not fight amongst each other, the enemy is in front of us. Jirobo tried to be the voice of reason as their leader, and Tayuya continued to bicker. Okay, fine, the blonde dipshit is strong, very strong. He is masking his true strength, but I can tell, he is strong. At first I thought it was overkill to send the three of us, but I understand now. Caution will be necessary. As for the redhead brat, nah, she's fucking useless. She has a lot of chakra, but it lacks potency, and it's totally unrefined. She hasn't had much training. The blonde dipshit may be strong, but clearly he has serious insecurities if he chose a weak bitch like her to be his mate, Tayuya said with a cruel smirk. Careful, Tayuya-san, your jealousy is showing, Karen retorted with a vicious smirk of her own attached to her face. What did you say, you weak stinking asshole? Tayuya exclaimed furiously. Hey, that's enough, you two. Family shouldn't fight, especially not in front of the enemy. Naruto reprimanded the two redheads. What the fuck did you just say? Karen and Tayuya both exclaimed, Karen in surprise and Tayuya with incredulity and indignity. I know, Karen, it's an awfully strange coincidence that I would run into two other Uzumaki on the same day, in the space of just over an hour, after searching for so many years for other Uzumaki ever since I ran into Fuka 4 years ago. Naruto said contemplatively. What the hell are you talking about, you sun-kissed piece of shit? Tayuya said angrily. And Naruto-kun's sensory abilities are arguably the best ever seen in the elemental nations, so much so that he can determine a person's nationality, or even determine familial relations by the feel of a person's chakra. The Uzumaki clan are known for their large chakra reserves, strong chakra and bodies, and red hair, and you fit all three of these particulars to a letter. And then there is the fact that Naruto has sensed a connection between your chakra, his chakra, and my chakra, which means, without a shadow of doubt, that you are Uzumaki Tayuya, my cousin, Naruto-kun's cousin. The three of us, along with a comrade of Naruto-kun's known as Uzumaki Fuka, are the last living members of the great Uzumaki clan of the village hidden in the whirlpool tides. Karen explained as best she could, trying to cram in as much information as possible in the summary of information that she provided. Ha! Ha 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 ha. Ah ha 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 ha. I must hand it to the both you guys are quite the creative duo. I've never heard of a ninja trying to avoid death by claiming to be a family member of their would-be killer. I would be impressed if it wasn't for the sheer incredulity of it all. I mean, the great Uzumaki clan? The village hidden in the whirlpool tides? Please, as if such a thing ever existed. Sakan laughed maniacally. Tayuya, you're awfully quiet. It's how a woman should behave, of course, but it's completely unlike you. You don't actually believe this nonsense, do you? Jirobo asked with concern. Of course not. It's absolutely ridiculous, but… Tayuya trailed off contemplatively. What is it, Tayuya? Sakan asked forcefully, his amusement a thing of the past now as he too was overwhelmed with concern by Tayuya's uncharacteristic behavior, more specifically the lack of profanities thrown back at Jirobo and her quiet and contemplative demeanor. Usually I can tell lies by evaluating the fluctuations of a person's chakra. It of course gets harder the more trained and the more skilled a person is with their chakra, and also based on a person's natural temperament and aptitude for lying. With that said, it wouldn't have been too surprising if I didn't get an accurate read on the dipshit's chakra. His chakra is well refined and you can tell he has experience in masking his emotions, but the red-eyed bitch, her chakra is easy to read, and she didn't lie, everything she said she believed to be the truth. Tayuya explained her dilemma. Yes, but you heard what blonde brat said, right? About how he couldn't believe his luck to have ran into two Uzumaki in the space of an hour? You get it right? He only met her just over an hour ago, and obviously brainwashed her with that nonsense. Maybe he has a thing for redhead girls and that's how he wins them over. Ask yourself this, if the Uzumaki clan is identifiable by their brilliant red hair, and he's an Uzumaki, then why does he have blonde hair and not red hair? Sakan argued vehemently, not believing for a second the bullshit that the blonde brat was trying to sell them, Tayuya's eyes snapping up and glaring at the blonde Uzumaki as realist ion dawned on her. Orochimaru must either be a total idiot or a complete sadist for sending you three after me without properly debriefing you. I'm the Yondaime Hokage's only son, that's why I have blonde hair. If it wasn't for his ridiculously strong genes, then I too would have red hair just like my mother, just like all the members of my family. Naruto deadpanned. To say the sound three were shocked would be like saying Naruto likes ramen, a massive understatement, the three of them staring at the blonde Uzumaki with wide eyes and hanging mouths as their minds began to work overtime to try and process what they just heard. No matter how much their basic instincts told them to reject that information and discard it like trash, they just couldn't escape the image of the Yondaime Hokage in their minds, or rather, couldn't escape the obvious resemblance he had with the blonde boy standing right in front of them, And at that point it was no longer possible for them to convince themselves that the blonde Uzumaki was lying to them, as it became too obvious that he really was who he said he was. I don't believe it. How could we have? How could Orochimaru-sama? Sakan trailed off in shock, unable to complete a single coherent sentence. Do you guys even know why Orochimaru wants me out of the way? Well, he doesn't seem like the type to tolerate any sort of questioning, and if he didn't tell you, I'm guessing that you didn't bother to ask, for your own sakes, right? Naruto asked rhetorically, their silence serving as confirmation to him that they really didn't know why they were supposed to eliminate the blonde Uzumaki, Naruto sighing heavily as he thought about what a complete asshole Orochimaru was. I guess I have no choice but to tell you. You see, there is one other thing you do not know about the Uzumaki clan. Well, actually there's a whole lot, but one in particular is relevant to the situation. The Uzumaki clan had a bloodline limit-like affinity for the sealing arts and barrier arts branch of ninjutsu. We were so good that conventional seal masters were literally equivalent to an Uzumaki novice. Now you can imagine, being the son of the Yondaime Hokage, who was revered for his sealing and barrier arts expertise, and Uzumaki Kushina, the heiress to the great Uzumaki clan, how good I must be in these arts. Orochimaru sought my help to complete those very seals that you have on your necks, and to help him to advance and improve on the Edo Tensei. He met me through Kabuto, who is my friend and mentor. However, he must have decided that I am a potential threat that he absolutely cannot ignore, or he must have decided that I know too much about his plans and sent you three after me. Naruto explained, taking a moment to catch his breath before continuing with his explanation. As far as putting Tayuya-chan in the team, I have no idea what he was thinking. It might be that he doesn't know she is an Uzumaki, or it might be that he did it for his own amusement, or out of curiosity to find out what would happen. If he's anything like Kabuto, which is my impression that they are very much similar in personality, then I wouldn't be surprised if it's the latter. However, I am afraid he miscalculated. Naruto declared confidently. How so? Sakan asked curiously, his mission to assassinate the blonde Jinchuriki seemingly long forgotten, at least for now. I told you, everyone else is a novice compared to an Uzumaki seal master. I have the means to easily remove Orochimaru's control over you that he has obtained via the curse seal. Tayuya, I can free you of Orochimaru's control, without you losing the power of the curse seal. It would take me no more than 3 minutes to do it, maybe less. The two of you, I mean, 3 of you, Sakan, Yukon, and Jirobo, I can free you too. Tayuya, I won't force you, but you're welcome to join us in our efforts to rebuild and preserve what remains of the clan, and to join my organization, the Bloodline. What? No fucking way. You're the leader of the Bloodline? Tayuya exclaimed in shock and surprise. Yes, but I'm surprised you even know about us. We've gone to great lengths to keep our existence a secret. Naruto replied. I was tasked with the investigation. I took a crew of our best trackers and spies, and all we were able to figure out was that you work in 2-man cells and hunt down bloodline limit users. We never got a single name or proper description of any of the members. Tayuya explained. I guess it was fate then that we would end up meeting like this. Fate has been trying to unite us for quite a while, it seems, and it has finally succeeded. Sakan, Jirobo, what say you? Do you want to be free of Orochimaru's control? You don't have to join me, you can go wherever you want and do whatever you want, or you can join the Bloodline, it's really up to you. Tayuya, I'd prefer we stay together because we're family, but it's up to you as well. I don't want to use fear and oppression to control my comrades like Orochimaru. I prefer that you choose to follow me of your own volition. I'll free you of his control no matter what you decide. No thanks, Sakan exclaimed suddenly. What? Naruto asked with an eyebrow raised in confusion, unable to understand why this guy wouldn't want to be released from his shackles. No thanks. Call him what you will, but Orochimaru-sama has done a lot for us. He trained us, gave us a home, gave us something to live for, and gave us this power of the cursed seal. What can you do for us? What can you do better than him? Sakan asked rhetorically. I can give you a powerful bloodline limit for starters. Naruto deadpanned. What? Jirobe stuttered, echoing his, Sakan's, and Tayuya's thoughts as well. I have created the ultimate forbidden jutsu, a jutsu called the Chimera no Jutsu. Put simply, this jutsu enables me to fuse an entire corpse of a bloodline user into another person at a molecular level, allowing the person to obtain not only the bloodline limit of the deceased, but also access to his or her memories, jutsu, experience, and skills. Do you get it now? If I am going to rebuild Whirlpool, I need the village to have powerful people as leaders of the founding clans. That is why I created this jutsu, to ensure that all the clans have powerful Kekkei Genkai users. In other words, the members of the Bloodline will be the founding members and cleed heads of New Whirlpool. You could become part of this legacy too. All you have to do is to allow me to help you to cut down your shackles. Naruto explained. That is amazing, honestly, it's incredible, inspirational even. However, the answer is no. We will not betray Orochimaru-sama. Sakan spoke on behalf of his team. He is loyal to a fault, and ridiculously stubborn. However, what will he do when he hears this? Naruto trailed off with a sinister mental smirk. Okay, I have to assume that you have no idea what your role really is in Orochimaru's plans, do you? Naruto asked with a bored tone. My role is to destroy all of Orochimaru-sama's enemies. Sakan stated as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. Just as I thought, you guys really have no idea, do you? Naruto said with mock sadness. Just fucking spill it, shit stain. What the hell are you talking about? Tayuya exclaimed impatiently. The Elite Sound 5 are nothing more than Orochimaru's future vessels. The reason why Orochimaru can cause you pain and paralyze you via the curse seal is because he has sealed a part of his essence inside of the seal. However, the ability to cause you pain and paralyze you is not just so that he can control you, it is so that you won't be able to fight back when he is ready to take over your body, and the other reason for sealing his essence into the seal is to gradually alter your body to make it more compatible with him, and make it easier for him to take over you and suppress you. Naruto revealed much to the Sound 3's horror. And not possible. He wouldn't. Oh, who am I fucking kidding? Of course that creepy bastard would. Tayuya thought out loud, shifting between moods rapidly, from disbelief and shock to acceptance, frustration, and most all, anger. Anger at Orochimaru for using her the way that he did, and anger at herself for deluding herself into thinking he would treat her any different from how he treated everyone else. Watch your mouth, Ta. No, fuck you, Yukon. It's Sakan. Whatever. Fuck you and the Sound 4 and especially that creepy bastard Orochimaru. I'm not getting betrayed and swallowed by that slimy creep. Hey dipshit, you serious? You can really get that slimy creep out of me? You can give me a bloodline limit, and you really are my cousin? Tayuya asked consecutively. Yes to all of your questions. All you have to do is to take. Naruto trailed off as Tayuya, in the blink of an eye, moved so fast that Karen couldn't even move a finger before Tayuya had already grabbed her and jumped onto a branch on the large tree that was a few meters behind her. I'll take the red-eyed bitch with me, as insurance while you fight those two slabs of dick cheese. If you can defeat them, then it will help me to believe that you really are who you say you are. The leader of an organization as powerful as the Bloodline should be able to hold his own pretty well in a fight, don't you think? Tayuya asked tauntingly. She's smart. If I win, then she gets reassured that I really am who I say I am and that she made the right decision, and she knows I won't kill her for her insolence because she's family, and I can't afford to lose family members given how few of them I have. She also knows, because of her chakra sensing ability, that I'm strong enough that even if I lose, I might have killed one of them or I might have taken so much out of them that she can easily just finish off the other and return to Orochimaru with Karen as her prize, someone talented enough to more than replace these two if trained properly. She's playing it safe by playing both sides and siding with the victor. Well, actually she is choosing me, but in a way that if her decision is wrong she can still cover it up and return back to Orochimaru without being outed as a traitor. Naruto thought with realization, unable to contain the smirk that involuntarily morphed into his facial features. Gee. I always knew you weren't reliable, you witch. You better be sure that we'll be coming after you next when we're done with this brat. Jirobo said furiously. I'll just kick your fat ass like I always do, you stupid asshole. Tayuya retorted. Leave her be, Jirobo. We'll deal with her later. The mission comes first. Sakan ordered authoritatively. They must not know that Naruto-kun is a Jinchuriki, much less a perfect one, otherwise there is no way they would be so overconfident. I really can't tell whether Orochimaru is an idiot or a sadist for sending them in so unprepared. Karen thought with a sadistic smirk of her own, totally forgetting that she was in a hostage situation right now, such was the confidence that she had in Naruto. I'm going to give you one more chance to. Enough! Sakan exclaimed, interrupting the blonde Uzumaki before he could finish making his offer. We have been sent here to eliminate you, and that is exactly what we will do. Sakan ground out furiously. Yeah, sorry, but your time has run out, tree hugger. Jirobo added. Alright then, I guess I'll be adding your corpses to my collection. Naruto declared as he formed two spiraling spheres of bright blue chakra on each one of his hands. And no way. Sakan stuttered, eyes wide in surprise as he stared in disbelief at the blonde Jinchuriki's jutsu. What the hell is that jutsu? It looks dangerous. Jirobo asked warily. I know that jutsu. Orochimaru-sama told me about it once. It's the 4th Hokage's original jutsu, the Rasengan. Careful, Jirobo, one hit with that thing and we're done for. Sakan warned his partner. Okay. Jirobo said with a little disinterest in his tone. Listen, let's spread out. The Rasengan is a close-range assassination-type jutsu. The 4th Hokage used his insane speed and instantaneous teleportation in combination with the Rasengan in order to land hits on multiple targets almost simultaneously. I'm guessing that the kid is also fast, but as he hasn't pulled out and distributed any tri-pronged kunai around the battlefield, then I'm guessing he hasn't learned or mastered the Yandame's Hiraishin no Jutsu. He is still probably fast just like his father though, so caution will have to be exercised. Sakan trailed off as he moved to his right and Jirobe to his left, the two of them putting a good distance between each other so that Naruto wouldn't be able to attack them simultaneously like he seemed to want to, given that he had created a Rasengan on each one of his hands. Jirobo, activate level 1. We'll need it to counter against his alleged speed. Sakan ordered as black seal markings began to spread from his shoulder and all over his body, the same thing happening to Jirobo shortly afterwards, their chakra spiking significantly up in quantity and potency, becoming denser, stronger, thicker, and much more sinister. Flying Rasengan, Naruto said with a low tone after he extended both his hands and pointed his palms, more specifically the spiraling spheres in his arms, at his opponents, the left palm aimed at Sakan and the right at Jirobo, and the Rasengans shooting off immediately after he said the name of the technique at near unreadable speeds towards their targets. Neither Sakan nor Jirobo were able to react at all, first of all because the spheres were way too fast, and secondly because the attack was completely unexpected as they had no idea that the Rasengan could be used at mid/long range like that, the spheres hitting them dead center on their torsos with so much force that they were sent flying away rapidly, their bodies colliding into numerous trees and breaking right through them as said trees were sent crashing into the ground. It felt like they must have been airborne for miles before Sakan and Jirobo finally hit the surface, crashing so hard that large craters and trenches were formed by their impact on the earth. What the fuck, dipshit? I thought that was supposed to be a close combat technique. Sakan is big on collecting information about the greats of the past. He wouldn't say something like that unless he had thoroughly researched that jutsu. Tayuya exclaimed, shock and disbelief still permeable in her tone as she couldn't believe what she just saw with her own eyes. I took my father's jutsu and improved on it, of course. That's what the new generation is supposed to do, to surpass the old guard, to prevent stagnation and recession, to promote progression. Although, those were normal Rasengan that I used, propelled forward with a supercharged wind blast, that's all there is to the flying Rasengan technique. Naruto explained simply. I see. That's still very impressive. You can use the Rasengan without putting your own body on the line like the Yandame did. However, I wouldn't celebrate so soon if I were you. Tayuya said as she looked behind the blonde Uzumaki at her three former teammates, as they came back into the clearing. You brat. Can you imagine what it is like when you expect to take a long-ass nap and a little brat decides he's going to try and kill your twin brother to whom you are fused and within you are sleeping, taking away a good chunk of your sleeping time and not to mention, almost causing your nap time to become permanent. Said well, for lack of a better term, a total monster-looking person, walking alongside another monster-looking person who happened to look almost exactly like the monster that just spoke. You must be Yukon then. It's nice of you to finally join us, but more importantly, I'm impressed by your collective regeneration abilities. That Rasengan should have completely obliterated your insides, and yet here you all are, completely recovered. I never imagined activating Curse Seal Level 2 would have such an amazing effect. Naruto said with genuine intrigue. You almost killed us, you fat little prick. I'll kill you! Jirobo exclaimed furiously. I'm the fat one? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Enough! Sakan exclaimed with anger and impatience as he, in the blink of an eye, covered the distance between himself and Naruto and delivered a powerful back kick straight into Naruto's abdomen, or at least tried to as Naruto's reflexes were quick enough for him to put his guard up just in the nick of time. However, the kick was so powerful that it completely shattered Naruto's defenses, breaking through his guard and landing square on his abdomen, sending the blonde flying away and crashing right through a solid tree and into the ground, creating a large crater where he landed. Despite the obvious pain, the blonde Uzumaki was very quick to get back up on his feet, knowing that death would be swift and brutal if he dawdled for even a split second, although that didn't stop him from coughing up a ton of blood from his mouth as his internal organs were completely crushed by the horned, monster-looking twin. That was fast, way too fast. He's definitely faster than me, faster than Kakashi and Zabuza even, and definitely physically stronger than Kakashi. Naruto thought as he struggled to get back on his feet. If he had to be honest with himself, Naruto would say that, without tapping into the Kyuubi's chakra or using any special enhancement techniques beyond normal chakra enhancement, his speed was around that of a standard Jonin, perhaps just a little above, and so was his strength. That was no slight on him, as achieving the level of Jonin is an extremely difficult task that requires endless hours of training and natural talent. It is genuinely considered a great achievement for someone to reach that level, as less than a quarter of the entire shinobi force is even able to reach that level, and for someone to reach that level at the age of 12 is extremely rare even amongst the greatest of prodigies and genius-level ninja. Needless to say, reaching such a level, at any age, automatically makes you formidable ninja who is very difficult to kill. However, there are those special ninja even within this tier who are considered greater than the others, ninja who are perhaps not at the level of a Kage but are also clearly above the standard Jonin level, ninja who are somewhere between the two tiers. These ninja are known simply as elite level Jonin or just elite Jonin. People like Kakashi, the late Momochi Zabuza, and Yuki Haku fall within this tier. Now it was true that Naruto was responsible for the deaths of Zabuza and Haku, however, it was also true that he didn't directly engage them and relied solely on his summons to fight them. The truth of the matter, and Naruto was acutely aware of it, was the fact that he had never defeated an elite Jonin-level ninja without either the use of the Kyuubi's chakra or relying on his summons. When he defeated Gatsu all those years ago, he had relied heavily on the Kyuubi's chakra, and when he defeated Haku and Zabuza he had relied on his summons. Sure, he defeated Kakashi without the use of either of those external advantages, however the circumstances were especially unique in that battle. For one, Kakashi had no killing intent as it was a mere training/evaluation exercise. Secondly, Kakashi's mind was filled to the brim with false information about him, information that told the exact opposite about Naruto's threat level. And finally, Naruto had intimate intel on Kakashi that made it easy for him to prey on his weaknesses. Simply put, the odds were heavily stacked in Naruto's favor and the surprise element was too great for Kakashi to overcome at the time. Nevertheless, it said a lot about Naruto's opponents that their speed and strength were above the elite-level ninja that Naruto had faced before. It really was no wonder that they were chosen as Orochimaru's elite guard and personal bodyguards. Truth of the matter was that were it not for Naruto's high-level sensing ability, he would not have even been able to react at all to Sakan's attack because the guy was way faster than he was. It was only because his chakra sensing ability is so advanced that it gives him a sort of precognition ability to be able to sense movements via the movement of a person's chakra that he was able to react at all, and that was saying something considering the fact that Naruto had above Jonin level skill, speed, and physical strength. Still, despite being at a disadvantage, the blonde Uzumaki had absolutely no intention of using the fox's chakra, because he was currently working diligently on a way to possibly but permanently separate himself from the fox in the future. The reason for this was because until he did exactly that, he would not be able to use the Chimera no Jutsu on himself as the fox was interfering with the process. Since he was planning to get rid of the fox in the future, he knew that now already he needed to start getting used to not relying on its power and winning his battles solely on his own power, which is why he was not going to even entertain the thought of using it to defeat the enemies before him. The fox mud is still alive. You must be losing your touch, brother, Yukon said casually, although with a hint of surprise in his tone. I'm certain that I crushed his insides. He must have some kind of high-speed regeneration ability, Sakan replied in his defense. Then let us crush his entire body into a pulp and see if he can regenerate from that, Jirobo said angrily. Okay, you stay where you are, Jirobo, and wait for a clear opening, and then you crush him into a pulp. Sakan and I will create the opening, if we do not crush him ourselves, that is, Yukon ordered authoritatively. Got it, Jirobo said excitedly. They're about to attack together this time. I barely survived Sakan's attack and I'll surely die as I am if I don't do something. I guess it's time to test out that technique then, Naruto thought as he focused his mind, his body, and his chakra, preparing for the most difficult battle of his life thus far, just as well too as the twins came at him with incredible speed. However, this time Naruto was able to completely evade their attacks, moving silently, without so much as a sound and yet at incredible speed as he bobbed, weaved, ducked, and ran away from Sakan and Yukon's attacks, running of course, because he quickly realized after just 5 counter-attacks that his punches and kicks only slightly hurt these guys but not enough to stop them from pressing their attack. One time he tried to form an instant Rasengan and counter-attack, but it seemed they were extremely wary of that after what happened last time, as they were very quick to react and move away from him every time he so much as gathered chakra on his palm. Shit! Naruto thought as Jirobo came at him from his blind spot, at a speed that Naruto did not expect at all from a man of his size, the big bone teen throwing a downward punch at the blonde Uzumaki, hitting thin air of course, as the blonde Uzumaki was quickly out of there, almost as if he disappeared completely from Jirobo's eyesight. Or did he really disappear? Jirobo had no idea, as the momentum of his attack was such that he hit the ground at full force with his punch, the punch so powerful that it completely reshaped the landscape, causing earthquake-like effects as the earth rippled, concaved, and broke into large slabs of debris, trees around the clearing falling and hitting the ground hard as a result. A priceless look appearing on Karen and Naruto's facial features as they looked on in shock at the big bone teen's handiwork. That's insane. If Naruto-kun had been hit with that, he would have surely died even with his regenerative ability. Karen thought fearfully. It would have been bad if I had been hit with that attack. I can't believe he is so much stronger than the twins, and those guys are ridiculously strong themselves. Naruto thought warily. Oh? What's going on here? Last time I checked, this guy could barely follow my movements, and now he is making us miss like a bunch of amateurs. It's like he is completely different from just a few minutes ago. Sakan complained. Shuinpa no Jutsu, Naruto said simply. Am I supposed to know what the hell that is? Sakan asked rudely. It's a jutsu I created. It's a wind style technique. It's a wind style that surrounds my body, eliminating wind pressure and wind resistance, whilst also boosting up my shunshin technique. The result is faster bodily movements, significantly increased foot speed, and of course a much faster shunshin technique. With this jutsu, combined with my incredible sensing abilities, I am able to quite comfortably anticipate and evade your attacks. Naruto explained casually. Heh! I have to give you props for creativity and ninjutsu talent for creating such an awesome technique, and to top it off, you even mastered the Yandame's Rasengan and took it to a new level entirely by using it as a long-range destructive bullet. However, we won't allow ourselves to be hit by your flying Rasengan again, and your physical attacks barely affect us in this version 2 Curse Seal state. Running away isn't going to win you this battle, and if you cannot defeat us, then Taiya will just take that red-eyed bitch back to Orochimaru-sama, since you couldn't convince her that you are worth defecting for. You are going to lose everything. Sakan taunted the blonde Uzumaki with joy and glee in his eyes. I can see right through your act, Sakan. You're trying to bait me into attacking you desperately and therefore recklessly, because you know that it won't be easy to catch me due to my extraordinary speed, super reflexes, and sensing abilities. You're worried that this is essentially a stalemate, and that is because there is a time limit to how long you can stay in Curse Seal Level 2 mode, isn't it? Naruto asked rhetorically. Why, you little? Sakan trailed off angrily. Well, of course I have no intention of dragging this out myself, nor do I have any intention of allowing you to escape with your lives. Naruto trailed off ominously. What? Ahahaha. You actually think that you stand a chance against us? Mark my words, Yandame's brat. We'll finish you off in the next 6 moves. Yukon this time replied arrogantly. You assume that you have seen everything I can do, but you couldn't even begin to grasp the true power of my Rasengan fighting style. However, I do acknowledge your strength. You guys are at the top of the elite class of ninja already. You would probably be able to take out even a Kage-level ninja as a team, and in just a few years you would have probably been able to each individual possess a power comparable to that of a Kage. However, this is the end of the road for you. Out of respect for your skill, and in acknowledgement of your power, allow me to show you my ultimate technique. Naruto trailed off as his chakra spiked up massively, his whole body instantly becoming covered in powerful, clearly visible chakra shroud. What the hell is that thing surrounding his body? Jirobo sputtered nervously, never in his life having felt such a strong chakra before, or even seen anything even remotely resembling the kind of chakra that was surrounding the blonde Uzumaki. The potency and frequency of that chakra is ridiculous, and the rapid spin in multiple directions, it's like his Rasengan jutsu, but channeled around his entire body instead of just on his palm. Yukon said warily. Congratulations, Yukon, that was a fabulous analysis. This indeed is a full-body Rasengan. This is my Rasen Chakra no Yora. It is both my ultimate defensive technique and my ultimate offensive technique. It is essentially what you call a nintaijutsu technique. Spiraling chakra armor? Nintaijutsu? Ultimate defense and offense? Sakan repeated disbelievingly. Yes. Essentially, trying to punch me now would be the same as attempting to punch through a Rasengan, In other words, my defense is impenetrable. Of course, it goes without saying that when I punch or kick you, it will also be the same as being hit with a direct Rasengan. Not only that, but this jutsu isn't just a shroud that surrounds my body, there is an internal chain reaction occurring as well. The rapid functions and movements of my chakra shroud occur internally as well, the result being an exponential increase in my chakra frequency and circulation, causing a massive increase in speed, senses, reflexes, and physical strength. The three of you, in other words, have absolutely no hope, but don't bother to surrender. I have no intention of taking prisoners. Naruto declared apathetically. You underestimate us, Kiroi Senko no Gaki. Yukon said as he remerged with his brother, turning into what Naruto could only describe as a two-headed monster, augmenting their already monstrous-looking forms. Merging with my idiot brother is just a distraction to make him cautious and therefore buy us time. Our match fighting style isn't going to do shit to this guy with his entire body turning to a humanoid Rasengan. That Rasengan jutsu was powerful as hell, and there is no jutsu in our arsenal that can penetrate that. Even Jirobo's super strength won't do shit against that. The only time before now that I ever felt the need to escape from an enemy was when we faced Kimimaro. I never thought I would meet someone that would make me feel this much fear again. Uzumaki Naruto, you really are the Kiroi Senko's son. Yukon thought, similar thoughts going through his father and Jirobo's minds. You're not the only one with an ultimate defensive move. Let's show him, Sakan. Yukon exclaimed, both Sakan's and Jirobo's eyes lighting up as realization dawned on them. They both knew, of course, what jutsu Yukon was referring to, that being the jutsu that Orochimaru had personally taught to the twins, the summoning technique, Rashomon Gate. However, as there was obvious no offensive benefit for this jutsu, especially in a taijutsu battle, it was clear that the gate was merely a wall meant to shield and hide them during their escape and to stop the blind Uzumaki from following them. In other words, Yukon had just discreetly called for a complete retreat. Okay, let's do it, Broth. Sakan trailed off in shock and pain, he and his brother unable to even begin their hand seal sequence, as, in the blink of an eye, the blonde Uzumaki had already covered the distance between them and delivered a devastating punch right in the middle of the torso of the conjoined twins, blowing a wide hole right at the center of their tummy, so wide that Taiya and Karen, who were standing at a safe distance high on a tree, could clearly see through to the other side. Impossible! Sakan sputtered, eyes wide in shock and pain as their conjoined forms slowly fell backwards, their bodies splitting up before they hit the ground as their jutsu was undone, Yukon having died instantly when the attack landed as his corpse lay still on the ground, 3/4 of his torso missing as it was blown to smithereens. It seems your brother protected you by rearranging your cell structure so that he can take the majority of the damage. A noble but futile gesture, Naruto said as he cocked his fist back and prepared to finish off the other twin. Wait! Why, you bastard! Were the younger twin's last words as Naruto delivered a devastating punch right at the center of his chest, the effects of Naruto's Rasen Chakra no Yoroi enhanced strength devastating the earth even more than Jirobo's punch had previously done, exponentially so as there was absolutely no comparison between their attacks. Karen and Taiya as a result forced to move even further away from the battle as the tree they were standing on, and the trees around it, were sent crashing into the ground. 2 down, 1 more to go, Naruto said as he turned around to face the last member of the Sound 3. Don't think I forgot you, Jirobo, Naruto said ominously, Jirobo's legs visibly shaking as he felt the kind of fear that he only ever felt when he incited the ire of either Orochimaru or Kimimaro. Do not be afraid, I'm not the type that likes to play with my prey, not when I get serious like this. It will be over in an instant, Naruto said with an emotion-deficient tone. Who has the control? Thank you, shit stain, Taiya said in an uncharacteristically subdued tone, rubbing the left side of her neck with her right hand, looking more vulnerable right now than Naruto ever imagined possible, although to be fair ever was only about 45 minutes since that's how long he'd actually known her for. Taiya couldn't believe that creepy piece of Orochimaru's soul had been inside of her this whole time. Getting Yugo's DNA implanted into her was one thing, but being a container for Orochimaru's soul was another thing entirely. She was so happy that Naruto told her about it, and even happier that he removed the damn thing from her. In fact, she couldn't remember being happier than she was feeling right about now, and she was really looking forward to having a family, a real family. She hoped it would be different from what she had with the Sound 5. Orochimaru had told them when the team was formed that from that day going forward they were a family, but it was nothing like she had hoped it would be. Kimimaro was a horrible big brother figure and seemed to always be a bad mood away from slaughtering the whole lot of them. The others only looked out for themselves, and would have gladly stabbed her in the back if it meant advancing their standing in Orochimaru's eyes or gaining more power. It wasn't how she pictured family life at all, and in her despair, she had completely shut down that part of herself as a result. However, Shit Stain and the red-eyed bitch had reawakened a part of her that she thought she had put to bed for good. Perhaps it was because they said that they were her real blood relatives, perhaps deep down she could sense it too, which is why she so willingly and easily betrayed the sound and sided with them. Or perhaps it was because they were kindred spirits to her, lonely souls who had to survive the pain of solitude and being an outcast. Whatever the reason was, whatever the feeling was, Tayuya only knew one thing right now, that it felt absolutely right, and this was the happiest she had ever felt in her entire life. Even if it turned out to be a lie, even if it turned out that this was just another person trying to use her for his own gain, she wanted to hold on to this feeling for as long as it lasts. "It was my pleasure, Tayuya-chan," Naruto said with a genuine smile, a red hue spreading across Tayuya's cheeks at Naruto's use of the endearing suffix. "Don't see call me that you stupid shit stain," Tayuya stammered. "You're one of my most precious people now, so I can't help it. In any case, we don't have time to properly bond as a family as of yet. There are more pressing issues that we need to discuss," Naruto said with a serious tone and facial expression. "What is it?" Tayuya said with a matching tone and expression. "I'm going to send you two to the Forest of Enlightenment. That's the home of my summoning species, the Chimera Ants. I'll send a reinforced shadow clone with you in order to smooth things along over there. Tayuya, you're already quite strong, an elite Jonin already. However, you will need to become even stronger in order to become a member of the Bloodline, strong enough to individually take on a person of your former master's caliber." "You mean strong enough to defeat the snake bastard? You really think that's possible?" Tayuya asked skeptically. She'd seen just how powerful Orochimaru was. After all, he was one of the legendary Sannin, hailed and considered a genius even amongst the Sannin. His jutsu repertoire was large and he was a master of numerous, powerful forbidden jutsu. His scientific knowledge and experimentation made him an even more dangerous foe, as he had intimate and intricate knowledge of all physiology and all types of chakra. As powerful as she was, she had never once thought that she would ever be able to defeat Orochimaru, so it came as a complete shock to her to hear the blonde Uzumaki say something like that so callously, as if it was something that just anyone could do. "It is. You don't understand your true potential because you don't know what it really means to be an Uzumaki. But I will educate and train you well, and so will the Chimera Ant clan. When we are done with you, you will be one of the most powerful beings on the planet. There's also what it means to be a member of the Bloodline to consider," Naruto explained. "What it means to be a member of the Bloodline?" Tayuya asked curiously. "We don't just collect corpses of Bloodline limit users for nothing, you know. I have a jutsu, the Chimera no Jutsu, that enables me to fuse said corpses with another person, endowing said person with the full powers of the deceased Bloodline user. So in other words, I can give you a Bloodline limit. However, I don't give out Bloodline limits randomly. I have to evaluate you thoroughly so that I can decide which Bloodline limit would best suit you. Hence the testing," Tayuya concluded as realization dawned on her. "Exactly," Naruto replied. "I see. So you're saying, there is power in being an Uzumaki. There are Bloodline traits that make us strong?" Tayuya asked curiously. "Super strong chakra, extremely large chakra reserves, unnaturally strong and durable bodies, an unreal affinity for barrier and sealing jutsu, and yang release Bloodline limit. Yang release is associated with strong body and strong life force, which in us is also manifest in the form of an unnaturally long lifespan, with the average mortality of an Uzumaki being more than twice that of a normal human being. It can also manifest in extraordinary healing and regenerative powers and can be directly applied in the use of barrier arts, sealing arts, and ninjutsu. Yang release is also responsible for our extraordinary chakra sensing abilities. Needless to say, mastery of the Uzumaki Bloodline limit and forbidden jutsu automatically makes you a Kage level ninja. Being a member of the Bloodline organization makes you even greater because inevitably I will decide on a suitable Bloodline limit to bestow unto you," Naruto explained in detail. "I see. I can totally see it now, and you know what? I want to be the one to kill the snake bastard if you don't mind," Tayuya said with a malicious smirk. "Killing Orochimaru won't be our main priority, but if it becomes necessary, then I will let you have a go at it," Naruto replied. What? You can't be serious. He just tried to have you killed. How can killing him not be a main priority?" Karen exclaimed indignantly, Naruto almost forgetting that she was even there since she had been so quiet while he had been preoccupied with Tayuya. As Taiyuya no doubt knows, Orochimaru plans to invade Konoha with the help of his Otogekyo no Sato and the aid of Sunigekyo no Sato. It is to our mutual benefit that his attack proceeds and succeeds. I need Konoha destroyed or weakened to make things easier for me and the bloodline when I inevitably defect from Konoha. Depending on how well the invasion goes, I could be out of here by the end of the Chunin exams. A full-strength Konoha will make things inconvenient for us. A weakened Konoha will have other serious issues to worry about and won't be able to allocate enough manpower for us, and a destroyed Konoha will be inconsequential. Naruto explained thoroughly. I see. You really are a real shinobi to the core. Petty emotions like the need for revenge are cast aside in favor of logic and long-term strategy. You really are great leader material. Taiyuya said in awe, impressed by the blonde Uzumaki's mental discipline and intelligence. She was also impressed by his strength and ninjutsu prowess. Who wouldn't be after that brutal display of power that Naruto had just shown against the Sound 3? That Rasen Chakra no Yoroi was really something out of this world, so much so that Taiyuya doubted if even Kimimaro would have been able to challenge the blonde Uzumaki, and that was saying something considering the fact that Kimimaro was so instrumental in taking out the Kazekage, and of course she had seen firsthand just what a monster Kimimaro was. She remembered Jirobo throwing a maxed-out punch at the blonde Uzumaki, their fists colliding in midair, a powerful shockwave that destroyed everything around it resulting from the collision. However, whereas Naruto remained unfazed by the collision, the same couldn't be said for Jirobo as his entire arm rippled and snapped in what Taiyuya counted to be 67 different places, the mangled arm falling limp on his side after the fact. As if what had just transpired wasn't scary and shocking enough, Jirobo had inexplicably tried to use his other arm to punch the blonde Jinchuriki, as if somehow he was going to miraculously get a different result this time. Taiyuya had almost closed her eyes in pity when Jirobo's other arm inevitably got destroyed beyond repair. Thankfully Naruto had quickly finished him off after that, staying true to his word of not playing around with his prey when he gets serious. Taiyuya didn't love or even like Jirobo or any of the Sound 5, in fact, she hated them with a passion. However, they were still her former comrades, and she had gone on countless missions together with them. It wasn't easy for her to have to watch them get destroyed and killed off like that, but she was grateful to Naruto that he didn't make them suffer too much before killing them. She didn't know if he did that for her sake or not, but she was grateful nonetheless. You give me too much praise, Yuya-chan, but thank you nonetheless. Naruto replied humbly. Be bastard. Stop saying my name like that. Taiyuya exclaimed, feeling both angry and flustered by the endearing and affectionate manner in which the blonde Uzumaki was addressing her. I already told you it was impossible for me to address you any other way, as you are one of the people I hold most dear to my heart, Naruto said with a casual shrug of the shoulders. In any case, unfortunate as it is time for us to part ways. I will now summon a messenger chimera ant who will take you back to the Forest of Enlightenment. Be warned, you will be entering a very beautiful but also extremely harsh environment. The king of the chimera ants, Miriam Dano, does not tolerate weakness and incompetence. It will be the most trying experience of your lives, but you will be so much stronger when you come out of it. Your pain and suffering will not be for naught, Naruto said with a dark undertone. When will you pay us a visit? Karen asked fearfully. Soon, I'd say, sometime after the Chunin exams, after the invasion to be more precise, Naruto replied. So like roughly a month and a quarter from now, give or take? Taiyuya asked curiously. She wasn't as scared as Karen was, not even close really. After all, she had survived growing up as one of Orochimaru's pets. She couldn't imagine a more sadistic person to have as a mentor, and she just couldn't imagine anything worse than the horrors she had seen and experienced in her time in Otogekure. However, that didn't mean she wasn't concerned. After all, from what she could tell, Naruto would probably mop the floor with her if they were to go to battle right now, and if someone as strong as he is thought that this place was a harsh and unforgiving environment, then she had to take him seriously. And maybe she would have to keep a lookout for Karen, because there was no way in hell a weak little shit like her was going to survive a place like that on her own. Yes, give or take, Naruto replied as he went through the hand seal sequence for the summoning jutsu. Kuchios no jutsu. 00000000000. Naruto had to fight hard to resist the urge to shake his head pitifully at Sasuke and Sakura's attempts to hide Orochimaru's curse seal from him. He couldn't figure out why they even felt the need to hide it from him. Was it because he had so many secrets, and they felt good about finally having a secret of their own to keep from him? Was it because they didn't want to worry him, ridiculous as that may be? Or was it because Sasuke insisted that Sakura not say a word to him, because his pride was wounded, because he didn't want to show any signs of weakness to him? Weirdly enough, it seemed that even Kakashi was in on it, as Naruto had tried to ask him about it after he took Sasuke away and presumably attempted to seal the curse away. But Kakashi had simply told him that everything was fine and that Naruto had nothing to worry about. Honestly, it was amusing and pitiful that they were trying so hard to hide something so inconsequential to him, something that, ironically enough, was technically Naruto's own invention. Nevertheless, Naruto couldn't deny that he was impressed with Sasuke's willpower, having seen him firsthand, by sheer force of will, suppress the curse when it tried to self-activate. He could already tell that Sasuke was going to become very good eventually at using the powers of Orochimaru's curse seal. The only question was whether Naruto was going to help him do it or if he was going to leave it up to Orochimaru. If he had to be honest with himself, Naruto would freely admit that he had no idea what to do with Sasuke. More specifically, he had no idea whether to recruit him for the bloodline or not. As far as Naruto could tell, Sasuke seemed to be what one would call a blank canvas, a person who could be dyed in any color. He could grow up to become the greatest evil in the world, or he could become a force of good, or he could even become neutral, neither good nor bad. His personality was that of an uncharacteristically uncharacteristic person, which is why Naruto was having such trouble making a decision despite the fact that he was usually a very good judge of character. There was of course the matter of fact that if Naruto didn't fix his seal and recruit him, that Sasuke would almost certainly end up with Orochimaru. Whether as an ally or as Orochimaru's new host, Naruto didn't think it would be wise to allow Orochimaru to have access to the Uchiha bloodline, especially since the guy just recently tried to have him killed. There was actually nothing to gain from allowing such a union to take place when he could have easily stopped it. No! I have to stay true to my convictions. Recruiting someone simply for the sake of not wanting them to join someone else is not how I do things. I recruit people who I can connect with, people who I share a bond with, and people who can be trusted. Sasuke does not fit the profile and therefore shouldn't be recruited. The only other choice I guess would be to kill him before he joins Orochimaru, but killing someone who hasn't even taken a life yet nor is a direct enemy is also not true to my convictions. I guess my decision is made then. What Sasuke does from here on out is up to him. Besides, I'm trying to get rid of the Kyuubi partly so that Akatsuki doesn't become a problem for me. Killing Sasuke would be counterproductive in that aspect. No way Itachi accidentally left Sasuke alive. He obviously still loves him, or at the very least has plans for him. I suppose in that respect, recruiting Sasuke would also be counterproductive since his main goal in life is to kill Itachi, an Akatsuki member. Naruto thought as realization dawned on him. So, for the sake of the bloodline, and to avoid an unnecessary war with Akatsuki, I must let Sasuke go. If anything, this will serve my purpose just fine. By going after Sasuke, Orochimaru inevitably makes an enemy out of Itachi, and since I know Itachi already beat him once, then needless to say, Orochimaru will have his hands full. If he loses the war with Konoha, even better, both he and Konoha will be weakened, and I will be the last thing on his mind. The bloodline and I will be able to move with relative freedom, and therefore will speed up our consolidation of power. This is the right move. I must forget about Uchiha Sasuke. Naruto concluded, stopping abruptly, directly at the center of Training Ground 7. You've been following me since the second phase of the exams ended. Come out now, Jiraiya-sama. I know it's you. Naruto called out. Naruto had to admit that he had been surprised to see Jiraiya at the preliminary eliminators at the end of the second part of the examinations. What he knew about the guy was what everyone learned at the academy, and of course what he knew about him from his father and mother's journals, and also what Kabuto learned about him from Orochimaru. He had never seen him in person before, nor did he have any idea about his whereabouts, not that he had been looking for him though. Oh ho ho ho. I can't believe that I, the great Jiraiya-sama, the Toad Sage of MT Mayaboku and the greatest spy master in the world, was discovered by a mere genin. Jiraiya exclaimed as he came out of the woods, doing the most cringe-worthy dance that Naruto had ever seen in his entire life, so much so that he actually felt embarrassed for the man. You were paying a lot of attention to me during the preliminaries, too much attention. So when I realized that someone was following me, I knew it had to be you. Naruto said matter-of-factly. Oh, and how did you realize you were being followed in the first place? I don't mean to blow my own horn, but I've followed people who went on to become leaders and kages without them knowing I was on their trail. Jiraiya said with a serious and deadly tone, a total contrast to the goofy and non-threatening behavior he displayed less than a minute ago. Because I too was following you, Naruto said as he came out of the woods from where Jiraiya had just come from, or rather, his shadow clone said as it came out from the woods, right behind Jiraiya. To say Jiraiya was shocked would be like saying Orochimaru was creepy, yes, a massive understatement. He was so shocked that he had to use every inch of his willpower just to stop himself from jumping away in surprise, although, the slight stiffening of the shoulders, unnoticeable to most shinobi but not to one of Naruto's caliber, was a dead giveaway, a giveaway to the fact that he hadn't known that he was being followed by Naruto's shadow clone. Impossible! When did he? Jiraiya trailed off as he was quickly broken from his musings by the sound of his prospective apprentice's voice. The predator is most vulnerable when it is stalking its prey. Everything else around it is zoned out, and full attention is given only to the hunt of the prey. This is especially true for an apex predator such as yourself. You are feared and revered throughout the shinobi world. Even the 5 Kage would think twice before engaging you, therefore you wouldn't be worried about anyone hunting you down, especially a mere genin, because most people generally try to avoid angering you as much as possible. I, however, am not most people. Naruto lectured with a slightly condescending tone of voice. So this is what he is like. I thought I understood everything when Sensei and Kakashi explained the situation to me, but seeing and experiencing it firsthand like this, I can't help but think that up until this very moment, I had no idea what I was really getting myself into. No wonder Kakashi had so much trouble with him. Jiraiya thought warily. So, you're hunting me? Jiraiya eventually replied, after quite a significant amount of time in thought. Don't take my words literally, I was being figurative. Truth be told, I have absolutely no interest in you whatsoever. And yet you took the effort to track my every movement ever since we met. Jiraiya retorted. Only because you took such a keen interest in me. Turns out I was right to keep tabs on you. Naruto countered. Jiraiya trailed off as he tried to think about how to approach the situation. His father is Minato after all, so I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised by his skill level, intelligence, and intuition. Minato was just an academy student when he tracked down Kushina and defeated 3 elite Kumo Jonin to save her. His mother had that chakra extinguishing ability where she could completely erase her presence even from a sensor-type ninja. Maybe he inherited that ability, and that's how he was able to follow me without my detecting him. Come to think about it, both his parents were incredible chakra-sensing type ninja. He must have inherited that too. Jiraiya thought analytically. Are you just going to stand there and stare at me, or is there actually a reason for this meeting? Naruto asked eventually, feeling that he had given Jiraiya sufficient time to get over his shock already. Jiraiya, much to Naruto's confusion, didn't reply verbally, instead removing the gigantic scroll he carried on his back and tossing it in front of the blonde Uzumaki, the scroll landing with quite a bit of heavy thud. What am I supposed to do with this exactly? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. It's a summoning contract. I know what it is. Naruto cut in before Jiraiya could finish. Then what are you waiting for, an invitation? Jiraiya asked with a mischievous glint in his eyes. You're a spy master, so there is no way you came before me without gathering information first about me from Kakashi-sensei and Sandaime-sama, which means that you already know that I have my own summoning contract already with the Chimera Ants. What makes you think I would forsake them for your frogs? Naruto asked incredulously. I don't expect you to forsake them. I spoke to the elders of Entimayaboku and they all agreed to make an exception this one time. They are willing to share you with the Chimera Ants, and by the way, they are toads, not frogs. Jiraiya declared. And if I say no? Naruto asked defiantly. Sarutobi-sensei could not order the toads to accept you as their summoners. He also could not order me to take you in as my apprentice. However, once the toads agreed and I made my intentions clear regarding your apprenticeship to me, the choice went out of the window. For you, Jiraiya said ominously. Can the old man really order me to accept the toads as my summoners? That doesn't seem right. There is nothing ethical about it. Moreover, if he needed approval from the toads to share my affiliation with the Chimera Ants, then shouldn't he need permission from the Chimera Ants as well? Wait. No way. Could they actually suspect that the Chimera Ants are no ordinary summoning clan, that they are man-made? By me? Naruto thought analytically, and warily. I'll have to get approval from the Chimera Ants first, of course. It's not a decision I can make arbitrarily. Naruto finally replied. You're not getting permission from anyone. You owe allegiance first to Konoha and Konoha alone. If the Chimera Ants have a problem with Sarutobi-sensei's orders, then they can go and bugger off. Jiraiya said with a firm and uncompromising tone. Is this his way of testing my loyalties to the village? How interesting. Certainly, he is playing this game at a higher level than Kakashi, but it isn't anything I can handle. Naruto thought, fighting hard to resist the devious smirk that was threatening to appear on his facial features. Very well then, I will sign the contract. Naruto replied casually, bending down and unrolling the scroll so that he can sign his name on the contract. What? I didn't expect him to submit that easily. Does he have a strong enough bond with the Chimera Ants that he believes they will easily get over his decision to sign with the Toads? Or are the Chimera Ants really just genetic experiments that he made like Kakashi and Sensei theorized? Jiraiya pondered confusedly. To be honest, he was really hoping that Naruto would summon this King Meruem that Kakashi told him about so that he could see him and evaluate him for himself. To say he was disappointed that he didn't was an understatement. In fact, he would have also liked for Naruto to summon that female Chimera Ant that Kakashi told him about, the one that was almost passable as human according to the copy ninja, the one from which the genetic experiment theory of their origin stemmed from. If he had to be honest with himself, Jiraiya did not at all want to believe that Naruto had conducted insect, animal, and human experimentation to create his summons, not only because of the implications of that about his godson's psychiatric makeup, but also because of what had happened to his dear friend and former teammate Orochimaru as a result of illegal human experimentation. He didn't want to believe his godson could or was walking the same path as his former best friend, and he especially didn't want to even entertain the follow-up theory that Kakashi and Sarutobi-sensei came up with, that if Naruto really created the Chimera Ants through human experimentation, then he, along with Orochimaru, were the main suspects behind the disappearances of founding Bloodline clan members of Konoha and Bloodline clan members from all across the elemental nations. Sarutobi-sensei was right. Naruto is totally unpredictable. Nothing he does is what you expect, and every reaction or action he takes is the opposite of what you hope for. He's incredibly difficult to read, and his motives are difficult to discern. Jiraiya analyzed critically. There, it's done, Naruto said after signing the contract with his blood. Interesting, his wound is already completely healed. Kakashi told me that he had never seen Naruto get injured before, so he didn't know how far his healing ability had developed. I'll have to report this to Sarutobi-sensei. He'll want to know that Naruto appears to have an instant mitotic regenerative ability, just like Tsunade. Jiraiya thought to himself. Now can you stop bothering me? I have a tough opponent for the final round of the Chunin exams, as you know. Preparations have to be made. Naruto said. He tossed the summoning scroll back to Jiraiya. I bet the only reason for making me sign the Toad summoning contract is to tie my fate down with Jiraiya. If I ever go rogue, then Jiraiya can simply reverse summon me or have the Toads do it. However, a simple application of the Uzumaki clan's contract seal is all I need to break my connection to the Toads when the time comes. This is a non-issue for me, Naruto thought. Don't be an idiot. Obviously you have to practice the summoning technique now that you have signed the contract. You need to meet the Toads and learn more about their abilities, and you need to work on team tactics and battle formations with them. Also, you need to be assigned a personal summon, and finally, you need to practice so that you don't accidentally summon a Chimera Ant when you need a Toad or a Toad when you need a Chimera Ant, Jiraiya said matter-of-factly. Does he actually intend to have me summon the Toads and train with them? I didn't think he was serious about this apprenticeship thing. Perhaps I should give it a shot. I'd like to study these Toads and find out what is so special about them. Perhaps I will learn something interesting from this experience, Naruto thought with a devious smirk plastered on his facial features. Fine then, let us do this. Meanwhile, Otogeki main base, you called for me. Kabuto spat distastefully as he arrived in Orochimaru's throne room, not even bothering to bow or go down on his knees or address his leader with his name and title. Of course, this didn't go unnoticed by Orochimaru, who, for the first time in such a long time, or perhaps in his entire life, was left completely speechless and dumbfounded, not having seen Kabuto look at him with such rage and contempt since the first time they met, when Kabuto attacked him with the intention to maim and kill. For a moment it seemed that rage was about to consume the snake Sannin. After all, he had very little, no, he had absolutely no tolerance for disrespect and insubordination from his underlings, not even from Kabuto. But then, as if a light bulb had just switched on inside his head, it hit him. Of course, why hadn't he thought about it sooner? In hindsight it seemed so obvious, the reason behind Kabuto's behavior. Minato's brat. It had to be, there was no other possible reason for Kabuto to behave so out of character. Kabuto must have been furious with him because of the assassination attempt he ordered on the blonde Jinchuriki, but why exactly was he angry? Was it because the mission failed and they lost 3 of the Sound 5? No, it couldn't be. If that was the case, Kabuto's displeasure would be justifiable, but not the complete lack of self-control about it, not the complete disregard of respect, and by extension, complete disregard of his self-preservation instincts. He didn't want to consider it, and the mere thought of it made him sick to the stomach. But was it possible that Kabuto was somehow emotionally attached to that insufferable brat? Could their relationship have evolved beyond puppet and puppet master? Kabuto, have you forgotten to whom it is you are speaking to? Orochimaru asked with venom on his tongue, both literally and figuratively, blasting Kabuto with the full force of his killing intent, unable to hide his surprise when Kabuto didn't so much as flinch under the full force of his menacing gaze. Turning Naruto-kun into an enemy was the most foolish act ever committed in the history of the elemental nations. I don't understand how an intellectual like you could have made such a stupid decision, Kabuto said furiously. Kabuto, I won't warn you, Ag. Why? Why didn't you consult with me before making this decision? I would have warned you about the consequences. At the very least, I could have given you sufficient intel that would have at least given the three you sent a chance at survival. I don't even understand why an assassination attempt was necessary. Naruto-kun was not an enemy, Kabuto exclaimed furiously. Maybe not an enemy, but he was most certainly a loose end. If you're not smart enough to comprehend such simple logic, then maybe I have no use for you after all, Orochimaru retorted angrily. A loose end? You really think Naruto-kun would say anything? I thought I made it clear that he absolutely hates Konoha and the Sandaime Hokage. I made sure of it, and I didn't even have to push that hard, Kabuto exclaimed angrily. He has not sworn his fealty to me or Otogekure. That makes him a loose end irrespective of what you think. You must have the intellect of a baboon if you can't reconcile yourself with such basic common sense, Orochimaru retaliated. We lost 3 of our strongest warriors, and I almost died too as a result of that decision. It was a bad move no matter how you look at it, Kabuto said with exasperation. You? Why did that brat attack you? Orochimaru asked with widened eyes. Of course he did. Do you know how hard it was to convince him that I really had no knowledge of your assassination attempt on him? I'm lucky he even gave me a chance to explain myself, Kabuto retorted. It wasn't often that Orochimaru was rendered speechless. It also wasn't often that he would ever admit to being wrong. However, hearing that Kabuto had almost been killed because of his actions hit him like a freight train. It wasn't necessarily out of sentimentality, or at least it wasn't entirely out of sentimentality. If there was one thing that Orochimaru knew for a fact, it was that when it came to identifying talent, he had absolutely no rival, and Kabuto was undoubtedly the most talented medical nin and scientist that he had ever laid eyes on, yes, even more so than his former teammate. There was no doubt in his mind that Kabuto would one day surpass Tsunade, and given his own ambitions, Orochimaru knew that it was in his best interests that Kabuto stay alive and continues to develop his unique talents, and that Kabuto continued to help him with his experiments, as the survival rate of his test subjects had increased by 80% since Kabuto joined him, and so had the success rate of his experiments. Anyway, what are we going to do now that we've lost 3 of our most elite ninja? Are we going to cancel the invasion? Kabuto asked curiously, taking Orochimaru's silence to be as close to an apology as he was ever going to get from the prideful Sannin. The invasion continues as planned. I've waited too long for this moment, planned too long to have it come to nothing, just because of one insolent brat. Orochimaru spat distastefully. Our plan was hinging on the sound 4 to trap the Sandaime Hokage inside the 4 violet flames barrier. With 3 of them gone, we'll use Tsuchikin and Kino Todosu. I will administer the curse seal on them and I will personally take charge of their training, Orochimaru declared with conviction. I see, and what about the 4th member? Perhaps it is time to remove Shin from stasis, Orochimaru deadpanned. I don't think that is such a good idea, Orochimaru-sama, at least, if you still intend to coerce Sasuke-kun into joining us. He will undoubtedly wonder about the eyes, and he will be displeased by the truth, or any lie that we could conjure up. In that case, you have until the Chunin exam finals to get Kimimaro-kun back to full health. But no excuses, Kabuto. Get it done! Orochimaru exclaimed furiously. Hi. Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto bowed respectfully, knowing better than to argue with the snake Sannin when he was in this kind of mood, Kabuto having regained his sanity, and therefore his self-preservation instincts. Tell me, Kabuto, are you absolutely sure that Minato's brat won't rat out on us? Orochimaru asked warily. 100%, my lord. Naruto-kun is no ordinary ninja, he is a man of honor. He has a code to fulfill all of his promises. When he makes a promise, he doesn't break it, no matter what. Besides, he intends to defect from Konoha, and our invasion is key to his plans, or at the very least, it makes things easier for him. Kabuto explained. Now this is news to me. You never mentioned this before, Kabuto. Perhaps if you had told me this sooner I would have made different plans with regards to him. Do you think you could convince him to join us? To join Otogeku no Sato? Orochimaru asked curiously. I was hoping he would come to that decision of his own accord. That's part of the reason I suggested you let him help us with the development of the Cursed Seal and Edo Tensei. After that assassination attempt, however, I don't see him ever trusting anything that comes out of my mouth, more especially what comes out of your mouth. Nevertheless, we can at least appease him slightly. He has offered us a chance at a truce, but it comes at a price. Kabuto trailed off gravely. What does the cursed fool want now? Orochimaru asked distastefully. Nothing we cannot provide. He knows about our assassination of the Kazekage. He only wants the Kazekage's corpse, and all will be forgiven. Kabuto said matter-of-factly. The Kazekage, huh? Do as you wish with the corpse. I have no care for the Kazekage's bloodline limit, not when I am about to get my hands on my precious Sharingan. All jutsu in the world will be within my grasp once I get my hands on Sasuke-ku and Kukukukuku. Orochimaru laughed maniacally. As you wish, Orochimaru-sama. Kabuto bowed respectfully. 000000000000000. Satisfied? Kabuto asked rhetorically. Indeed I am. This will make up for the assassination attempt. All is forgiven, Naruto said as he resealed the Kazekage into the human storage scroll, before then sealing said scroll into his left arm. If I may ask, what did you do with Tobirama's corpse? And what do you intend to do with this corpse? Kabuto asked curiously. All in good time, Kabuto-sensei, all in good time, Naruto said mysteriously. You still don't trust me, huh? But at least I delivered as promised. This means that you'll help us with the invasion, right? Kabuto asked suggestively. No, it doesn't. The agreement was that I wouldn't treat you as an enemy and therefore will not act against your interests. In other words, this was your way of earning my forgiveness for the assassination attempt. If I do help you in any way, it will be in an indirect and roundabout way, and only because it serves my own interests. Don't worry, Kabuto-sensei, even if I had made an enemy out of you, I wouldn't go as far as trying to kill you. Your master, definitely, but not you. I owe you too much for giving me the knowledge and enlightenment I needed to free myself of Konoha's shackles. Besides, you're my friend, and I like you, Naruto said with a shrug of the shoulders. Your friend? Kabuto stuttered, the words sounding so foreign on his tongue. Yeah. I mean, friends share their secrets with each other. They look out for each other and forgive one another when they hurt each other. They help each other to grow strong or with general problems that require assistance, or with things that only a trusted friend can be trusted with. Your motives may or may not have been pure, but there is not even a shadow of doubt that I am better off than I was or would have been because of you. You're arguably the most important person in my life, Naruto said matter-of-factly, Kabuto looking down and fixing his glasses all of a sudden, unable to look Naruto in the eye anymore for some reason that he couldn't identify. Getting all sentimental on me, aren't we, Naruto-kun? I thought I warned you about the consequences of allowing yourself to become attached to people, especially shinobi people. Kabuto said, his glasses gleaming as an indecipherable look appeared in his eyes. I'm only stating facts, Kabuto-sensei. There's being sentimental, and there's facing reality. I'm merely laying out the facts, so to speak, Naruto retorted. I see. Kabuto trailed off thoughtfully. In any case, once I leave Konoha, you and I won't see much of each other for a while. It could be months, it could even be years until we see each other again. So if there's anything you want to say to me. Naruto trailed off, Kabuto for the first time actually processing the fact that he wouldn't be in constant communication with Naruto for the first time in 5 years, that sudden realization shocking him to the core, much more than he expected it to. Well, there's something I wanted to ask you about. Did you steal the corpse of Yandame Dano? See, I ask because I broke into the Hokage crypt yesterday to get his corpse. Orochimaru-sama wanted to resurrect him too tomorrow along with Naidame and Shodame Dano. Imagine my surprise to find it completely empty. Kabuto asked with a tone laced with suspicion. That's the last thing he wants to say to me? I guess I shouldn't be surprised, Naruto thought with a mental shake of the head. I did in fact take his corpse, along with Kushina's, Naruto replied. I'm going to need you to hand over your father. I hope you understand 3 Hokages is better than 1. It's simple mathematics, Kabuto said with steel in his tone. It sounds like you're threatening me, Naruto said with a questioning undertone. I'm just saying. You promised that if I got Yandame Kazekage Dano for you, then you wouldn't act against us. Denying us access to Yondaime Hokage Dano, however, is doing exactly that, in other words. It's a breach of promise, a betrayal. Kabuto said with a grave and dangerous tone, a tone that caused Naruto's fight or flight instincts to come to the fore. Sensei, let me first clarify something to you. I stole my father's corpse long before you told me about your invasion plans, long before you asked me to help you with modifications to the Edo Tensei, long before this promise was made. Therefore, it cannot be a breach of promise if the act was committed before the promise was made. Secondly, you wouldn't even need the entire corpse for the jutsu, a small DNA sample would suffice, so I don't even understand why you want the entire corpse. Finally, and most importantly, it is all irrelevant whether you have his corpse or DNA sample anyway. My father's soul is trapped inside the Shinigami because he used the Reaper Death Seal on the Kyuubi. Your jutsu wouldn't work on him. Naruto explained in detail. That can't be true. I thought Yondaime Dano used the 4-symbol seal to seal away the Kyuubi? Kabuto sputtered. Actually, it is the 8-symbol seal, a variation he created of the 4-symbol seal. However, before sealing away the Kyuubi, he sealed away half of its soul into the Death God using the Reaper Death Seal. The Kyuubi inside of me is only half of the beast, and believe me, this half is actually strong enough to take on all the other beasts and win. I can't imagine how powerful the Kyuubi must have been at full strength, Naruto said in amazement and wonder. That can't be. Such raw power. Kabuto trailed off incredulously. Yes, he is the apex of all apex predators. Nevertheless, I think we're done here. Orochimaru will have to make do with those two. It should be enough to take out the third, although a Hokage that lived for that long shouldn't be underestimated. He might have some tricks up his sleeve, Naruto warned. Duly noted. I just have one more question for you if you don't mind, Kabuto said. Speak your mind, sensei. How long have you been a member of the Bloodline? Kabuto deadpanned, dropping a bomb right then and there, Naruto's eyes widening slightly in surprise, although he was very quick to get over it. How perceptive of you, Kabuto-sensei. I suppose I should have known better than to try and hide things from you, Naruto replied. So you did join the Bloodline? Tell me, who's the leader? Who are the other members? Who founded this organization? Kabuto asked anxiously. I'm the founder, of course, sensei. As for the other members, you'll find out in due time. I doubt you know any of them, but they are people to be feared, even by someone like your master. Big things are in store for the shinobi world, sensei. The world as you know it is about to undergo a complete overhaul. A new order is on the horizon. Eventually you will have to choose sides. I hope you will choose wisely, sensei, Naruto said with a grave undertone. And no way. You're the leader? It's impossible. No, wait. Why are you collecting Bloodline limit corpses exactly? What are you doing with the... Don't ask too many questions, sensei. Try to stay out of the affairs of the organization, will you? I may be leader, but I can't be held responsible for what my colleagues do to you if they find you snooping around. They are under orders to eliminate all threats to the organization, Naruto said with a grave tone. Kabuto, for the first time, realizing just what a monster he had created, and just how truly dangerous Naruto was. Is this why Orochimaru-sama wanted to kill Naruto-kun so much? Did he instinctively sense what a potential threat he was to our goals, or rather what a problem he would pose for us in the future? The Bloodline is arguably an organization with the same threat level of Akatsuki. If he, at age 12, is actually the founder and leader of such an organization, then how powerful will he be when he reaches maturity? Kabuto pondered, having to consciously stop himself from instinctively activating a chakra scalpel and attacking the perceived threat in front of him. Tell me, Naruto-kun, why am I only finding out now about this? How come I wasn't your first recruit? How come you still haven't offered me a position in the organization? Kabuto asked tensely. Naturally, your allegiance to Orochimaru would make you a liability in my organization, and secondly, how do you ask your sensei to become your subordinate? Naruto asked rhetorically. Are those the only reasons? Kabuto asked suspiciously. Of course. I've always been completely straight with you. If there was another reason, I would tell you. You know this. Naruto deadpanned. I have to go now. Good luck with the invasion, sensei. I hope everything goes according to plan, Naruto said as he turned and left, Kabuto not knowing whether to be angry, sad, disappointed, or frustrated as he felt like he was losing something important in his life and was powerless to do anything about it. 0000000000000. What are you doing, Dobe? Sasuke asked furiously. He was wearing the same outfit he wore every day, except his hair was a little longer, and his shorts were black instead of white, his turtleneck shirt also black instead of blue, and his sandals black as well instead of their usual blue. His eyes were blood red, with 3 tamo on each pupil. He was angry, boiling with rage even, and perhaps the adrenaline rush also contributed to that end. Naruto had just wasted a golden opportunity for him, the opportunity not only get his first kill, but for that first kill to be Sabaku no Gaara, the strongest ninja in Suna and the container of a tailed beast. Taking a life in itself was a milestone, as it not only would confirm that he is cut out for this ninja stuff, but would also prove that he would be able to kill Itachi as well when the opportunity presented itself. Killing someone strong like Gaara would also verify his own strength and confirm to him that he was strong enough, or at least almost strong enough to defeat Itachi. He'd done an amazing feat by subduing and paralyzing a Bijou with his Sharingan, having caught Shikaku in his Genjutsu, and it made things even easier for him that Gaara had forced himself to sleep in order to release the beast, which made him a sitting duck for Sasuke to shove his Chidori right through his chest, and he had been about to, had Naruto not tackled him out of the way. The stupid, jealous Dobe probably wanted to steal the spotlight from him, but Sasuke was not going to accept that, not this time. Is that any way to speak to the guy who just saved your life? Naruto asked condescendingly. Did you just save mine, or his life? Feeling sentimental over your Jinchuriki friend? Get it through your thick head, Dobe, he's an enemy. Sasuke ranted, grabbing the blonde Uzumaki by the scruff of the neck in anger. The sand moved beneath your feet, idiot. He was about to skewer you if I didn't tackle you. Take a look for yourself. Naruto said, Sasuke turning around to see, much to his horror, that there were giant spikes of sand protruding from the exact spot and the surrounding area from where the Dobe had tackled him. Impossible. I've completely subdued the Bijou with my Sharingan, it's under my control. If his automatic defense was the result of his beast protecting him, then it shouldn't have been activated. Sasuke said defiantly. Then either you don't have as much control over it as you think, or the beast isn't the source of his automatic defense. Naruto said, having already deduced from this incident that the chakra controlling the sand seemed to originate from the love tattoo on Gaara's forehead. What an interesting Fuinjutsu, almost as good as my automatic Genjutsu defense seal. Naruto thought analytically. What is it? Sasuke asked forcefully. Huh, was Naruto's intellectual response. The source of his automatic defense. Don't play dumb with me, Dobe. I know you've already figured it out. Sasuke snapped. It's the tattoo on his forehead. I'm sure if you actually put your Sharingan to use instead of looking for easy ways out, you'd have figured it out by yourself. Naruto retorted, Sasuke finding it hard to resist the urge to burn the Dobe to a crisp for that response. How on earth does a tattoo do something like that? Sasuke asked incredulously. It's a Fuinjutsu dummy. I mean, for someone with a hiki that gives him powers on his neck, you'd expect better than this from you. Naruto replied sarcastically. I hate you. Sasuke deadpanned. I know. So anyway, what are you going to do about this little situation? Naruto asked curiously. Where's Sakura? Sasuke retorted completely off topic. She's safe, my shadow clone took her to safety. Naruto replied. Good. I don't want her to see this, Sasuke said with a grave undertone. What are you going to do? Naruto asked again. I'm going to try and activate Chidori one more time. I was able to beat his sand before in speed, I can beat it again, Sasuke replied. That's not necessarily true, Sasuke. You were fresh and at full health then, you've taken a lot of damage and used a lot of chakra already as you are now. Also, the Bijou becomes stronger the longer it is released. Shikaku has been out for a while now, his sand will be stronger and faster, even if he isn't the one controlling it. Finally, killing the host won't necessarily help our cause, it just makes things worse as Shikaku will be released to wreak havoc on the village. He's already almost all the way detached from his container, so he won't have to take time to remanifest himself if you kill his container now. Naruto explained in detail. Then what do you suggest we do? Sasuke asked in exasperation. Who knows? Naruto replied with a casual shrug of the shoulders, much to Sasuke's dismay and frustration. Can have Sasuke killed the container here. It's true Shikaku won't take long to remanifest if the container is killed under these circumstances, but a couple of hours is still too long. I need this beast attacking the village before Suna and Oto are defeated. Naruto thought, immediately after broken from his musings by the familiar sound of chirping birds and crackling lightning, turning around to see that not only had Sasuke activated Chidori but that he had also reactivated his curse mark as well. Oh great! I thought I told you that. Naruto began only to be immediately cut off by his teammate. Shut up. Dobe. Can't you see I'm trying to concentrate? Standing around doing nothing isn't going to help. I have to try something. When I fight Itachi, there won't be time for me to sit idle and ponder the future. I'll have to act or die, or act and die, either way. If I run now, then I will run when the going gets tough in my fated battle with my brother, Sasuke declared with absolution. Well, when you put it like that, Naruto said with a shrug of the shoulders, I'll have to get ready to act. If Sasuke dies and I come back unscathed, then it will be obvious that I let him die. Damn it! This is so not going according to plan, Naruto thought, now regretting ever helping Sasuke to awaken his Sharingan, as that decision was coming back to bite him in the ass now. I'm going! Sasuke shouted as he disappeared in a burst of speed, pushing his body harder than he had ever done before as he put everything he had in this last attack. I don't believe it, he's actually doing it, Naruto thought as he watched Sasuke dodge and weave around the numerous spikes and spears of sand that were thrown his way, even the ones that were coming from below his feet, in other words, from outside his Sharingan's line of sight. I guess this is it then. Damn it! Naruto thought with a shocking realization as he spotted a pattern in the sand attack, realizing that the sand, as opposed to reactively defending against Sasuke, was actually actively attacking him, and attacking him in a measured and methodical way, in other words, luring him into a trap. This automatic defense is way more advanced than we realized, Naruto thought as he activated his wind-enhanced Shunshin, the Shunpa no Jutsu, moving at unreal speeds even for a seasoned elite Jonin, just in time too, as he barely made it in time to save Sasuke, who had been caught by the sand around the legs and thrown head first into a gigantic sand spike, thankfully Naruto making it in time to catch him and simultaneously move a considerable distance away. You can thank me later for. Naruto trailed off as he saw not only the curse markings receding but also saw Sasuke's Sharingan disappear right in front of his eyes, Sasuke breathing so heavily and looking so weak that he looked like a patient with a heavy fever. Perfect, Naruto thought with a mental smirk, realizing that, with Sasuke's Sharingan no longer active, Shikaka would regain consciousness any second now. Put me down. Dobe, Sasuke said weakly, feeling extremely uncomfortable at being carried bridal style by the blonde Uzumaki. No can do, Sasuke. With your Sharingan deactivated, Shikaka will regain consciousness anytime now. We can't defeat him, we'll have to get someone who can. We have to get Jiraiya-sama, Naruto said as he began running towards the village with Sasuke in his arms. Of course, he could have summoned a boss-level toad or two or his chimera ants to hold off Shikaka for a while. He even could have tried to lure him away from the village, and he had many other options besides that as well, such as using the power of his own beast or using his Uzumaki sealing and barrier techniques. But that would mean that he was actually helping Konoha, thereby contributing towards the opposite effect of what he wanted to happen here today, and hell would freeze over before he did something like that. He was going to find Jiraiya, but he was going to waste as much time as possible in doing so, and have as many Konoha shinobi as possible die before finally finding Jiraiya. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see the next part, don't forget to turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon. Please like, subscribe, and comment below to let me know your thoughts. Check out my other videos for more content you might enjoy. Until next time, take care.